for those of you who've played this game before, or at least episode 1, or joined us in the last stream, we made Chef Diaz's, what was it? His Home Alone pasta.
Yeah.
For lunch, but like slightly modified.
Touched up a little. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I think we did. I think it was big brain.
Yeah.
So his recipe is the bow tie pasta with Parmesan, salt, pepper, and cherry tomatoes, and olive oil, and mixed together, and that's it. And that's partly because he wanted a recipe that his sons could make easily when they were home alone, because he's a single dad. We punched it up a little bit by roasting the cherry tomatoes and roasting some garlic.
Yeah, because I just felt offended that it didn't have garlic in it.
I
understand, again, in terms of like children, like a 9-year-old, I would not want a 9-year-old chopping garlic.
And roasting garlic now.
Yeah, that feels a little too much.
So this is like really simple and easy and really banging.
So depression meal acquired.
Just another thing to thank Esteban Diaz for.
Truly. Plus, like, you know, got some vitamins in it. It's got some stuff.
A little bit.
Yeah, got some. I mean, garlic has vitamins in it. Tomatoes have vitamins in them.
Also, bow tie pasta is just a joyful shape.
It is.
It's a joyful shape.
It's very pleasing. It's a pleasing shape.
And like, I would never really think to get bow tie pasta, but now I'm like, it's hitting different. It is hitting different. We've got episode 2 today.
Yeah.
We're gonna see how long it takes us.
Bets on how long this is going to take us.
Yeah, place your bets now in the chat.
Any bet winnings go to Palestine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Bet winnings go to the map fundraiser.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 5.5 hours.
That's generous.
That's reasonable.
But that's also very generous to us that it would take that quick. Like, I don't see it being that quick.
I appreciate your generosity.
Yeah. That's like the recommended length of this chapter, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, pretty equal, good.
I don't like have loads pre-decided in my mind that I want to talk about. Obviously, we're going to continue to talk about Palestine in relation to what's happening in the game, which, like, again, for people who aren't familiar, is very much a game about 2 young Mexican-American boys who become displaced from their home because of basically an act of racialized police brutality, which murders their father.
Yeah.
And we talked a lot last time about some of the parallels between that and the experiences of Palestinians, especially right now in Gaza. This episode is very interesting. I'm gonna say I like it. I like all of them.
Okay.
This is probably my least favorite episode, though.
Interesting. I think I've only played it the once, but I think I agree with you.
Okay.
Just in terms of the themes that come up are probably like less interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, still very interesting to me
it's
in the context
good,
of this game. Yeah, like
it's
I'm not
good.
saying it's not interesting, because it is.
Honestly, it's my beef with Claire and Stephen.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, we do have to spend a lot of time with Claire and Stephen, which, yeah, is hard.
I hate them. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. But, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, let's start getting to get into it.
Oh. Are you fucking kidding me? No.
In the meantime, I'll just talk a little bit.
Yeah.
So, just to remind everyone that we're still fundraising for medical aid for Palestinians, as you should be able to see in that bar up there at the top of our screen. We're gonna continue fundraising, as we talked about last time. Currently, humanitarian aid is just not getting into Gaza, or there's a real struggle to get it into Gaza, which basically has a lot to do with the blockade and the Egyptian government preventing humanitarian aid from getting in, and the international community.
Arthur's here. He's saying hi.
As well. So raising this money is still important. The money will get to Palestinians at some point, but we also just want to remind everyone that the most important thing that you can do for Palestine is to organize and to take action. So Palestinian society since around 2005 has been calling for the international community to engage in BDS, which is a campaign to boycott Israeli companies and Israeli goods and institutions, to sanction Israel. So we want to be lobbying our government to impose sanctions on Israel, and to basically cease trade with Israel. And we want divestment as well. So we want to lobby our institutions like universities, pension funds, local councils, to remove their investments from the Israeli state, from Israeli companies, etc. And all of this is just like a non-violent pressure tactic to essentially, pressure Israel to end its apartheid regime, implement equal rights for all people living in Israel 48, and to allow Palestinians the right to return to their homes. Those are the three core demands of BDS. Which is really important to know, those three demands. It's all about getting Israel to comply with international law, and to basically assure freedom, justice, and dignity for Palestinians. So consumer boycotts are great, and if you go to bdsmovement.net, then you can find out more about what you should be boycotting, what you shouldn't be buying. But I think that we need to stress the importance of divestment and sanctions as well, because I think like the effect that it has for like a university or an institution or a government to stop trading with Israel is huge. BDS tactics are inspired in part by the movement to end apartheid in South Africa. Basically, part of the reason why like formal legal apartheid ended in South Africa is because it became too expensive. Like they couldn't maintain it anymore. So do you go to a university? Do you work at a company? Most of us do. Lobbying them to divest, doing your research into like what kind of connections they might have with Israel and Israeli companies, and lobbying them to divest is a really powerful tool for our advocacy. And just remember that, inshallah we get a ceasefire, but this is something that we have to keep doing until Palestine is free, basically until the three core demands of BDS are met. So yeah, we just want to tell you guys about that and stress the importance of that. We can donate and get medical aid to Palestinians, but if we aren't politically organizing to end the structures of apartheid and settler colonialism that people are living under, then it's just going to keep happening. They're going to keep bombing Gaza every couple of years. They're going to keep, mass incarceration of Palestinians and torture of Palestinians. And it's just, they're going to keep doing all of that. So the most important thing that we can do is political organizing. Okay. I saw something about a scanner for your phone that would recognize Israeli products. I think I heard something similar maybe on TikTok, that people were working on like an app where you could scan and find out Israeli products.
That's useful, because I feel like that's a challenge sometimes to find on the label, or like obviously most like pre-packaged food will not say product of Israel.
If you're in the UK and you're worried about like buying Israeli produce, because a lot of like mainstream supermarkets sell Israeli produce like Tesco and whatever, then a couple of options for you are that the co-op has a policy of not trading with illegal Israeli settlements. Like, arguably the policy doesn't go far enough, but it's a pretty solid policy, and it's the best thing that any like mainstream supermarket in the UK has. So the co-op is a really good option to shop there. And then the other option, which I would really recommend, is like, do you have like a market or a grocery place in your neighborhood that's like local and run by like Arabs and Asians? Because many towns in the UK have that. Um, Go shop there because like they never stock Israeli products. They literally never stock Israeli products. Often they stock Palestinian products, so you can buy Palestinian dates, Palestinian olive oil, etc. From these kind of local grocery stores that are run by Muslims, Arabs, Asians, etc. Sometimes you might even see a Palestine flag out in their window, so that can help. But if you need like a mainstream supermarket, then the best option is probably the Co-op, if you have one of those near you, in the UK.
I didn't actually know that. That's really good to hear.
Yeah?
Yeah, that is good.
About the Co-op?
Yeah. Is that, I presume that's like all co-ops, not just like the official co-op, but also like East of England co-op and stuff like that?
Where's my phone? Let me look up their policy.
Yeah.
We can read through their policy together.
That's really cool. Sorry, I am...
No, don't apologise. It's fine.
Okay. This is not going well. There's no way to like just download one chapter from what I can see, and I don't know if I'm missing something really obvious.
Is it downloading the rest of the game?
It was trying to download the rest of the game.
Okay. Yeah, literally, if you Google the Co-op policy Israeli settlements, there's an official Co-op page which says trading with illegal settlements or occupied territories. Since 2009, the cooperative group has operated a human rights and trade policy which sets out the exceptional circumstances under which we will withdraw trade from a state, area, or settlement. One such circumstance is where there is a broad international consensus that the status of a designated region or state is illegal. While there are many disputed territories throughout the world, there are currently only 2 examples of such illegal areas: the Israeli settlements in the Palestinian occupied territories and the Moroccan settlements in the Western Sahara. On this basis, we do not source any produce or own brand products from the Israeli settlements. In April 2012, our board determined that going forward, we will additionally no longer engage with any supplier of produce known to be sourcing from the Israeli settlements. We can categorically state that this position does not constitute a boycott of Israeli businesses. This is where it gets dicey. We remain committed to sourcing produce from and trading with Israeli suppliers that do not source from the settlements. So if you are shopping at Co-op, they may have Israeli products, but they won't have Israeli products specifically from the occupied Palestinian territories.
Okay.
From the illegal Israeli settlements in the occupied territories.
Right.
So I can talk about what that means if that's helpful for people.
I think that's pretty helpful. I know we were discussing it a bit last night, and I think that's useful knowledge, because I think that's not something most people know.
Yeah. Okay. So, basically.
So good news, we've only got 5 minutes left of downloading apparently, so
okay, great. So
yay for Ethernet cables.
Yeah, we can keep talking about boycott advice and sharing knowledge in that time. Okay, so the short version is that in 1947, as many of y'all will probably know, the State of Israel was established. So what happened in short is that the Zionist project had been lobbying for the creation of a Jewish ethno-state via colonization since the late 1800s, and they lobbied European colonial powers to support them with this project. In 1917, Britain signed what's known as the Balfour Declaration, which is basically Lord Arthur Balfour, who was then Foreign Secretary of Britain, wrote a statement saying, like, we promise the land of Mandate Palestine to the Zionist organization in order to create a Zionist state. After World War I, Britain gained control of Palestine and created what was called the British Mandate, because they fought the Ottomans during World War I, and the Ottomans ruled Palestine before. And then after World War II, Britain was kind of like, well, we promised this land to the Zionist project, but we can't really be bothered to deal with it anymore. So they let the UN handle it for them. And the UN drew up a partition plan. The UN partition plan of Palestine entailed taking the land of historic Palestine and carving it up into two areas, which were supposed to be two sovereign states, a sovereign state of Israel and a sovereign state of Palestine. And the plan was like inherently bullshit and unfair because obviously it still entailed stealing a bunch of Palestinian land and displacing Palestinians and killing Palestinians and stealing their homes and like genocide, basically, right? In order to create a state of Israel. And Zionist militias actually took more land than was promised to them by the already unfair UN partition plan, so that's great. But in theory, there was meant to be a sovereign Palestinian state. Palestinians obviously weren't happy about the situation, and surrounding Arab states weren't very happy about it either.
Also, the allocated sovereign state was like split, right?
Yes, yeah. So we can't really show you a map right now.
No, I mean we could. I'm sharing my screen technically, but
yeah, okay, we can look at the map.
Let's have a look at the map. Okay,
all right. So you can see the map pretty decently here, right? So this was the proposal from the UN, and the blue is and it says this on the thingy. Blue is a Jewish state, and yellow is an Arab state. So Israel and Palestine. The city of Jerusalem, as you can see, is actually white because nobody was meant to own the city of Jerusalem. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, the reason that looking at the map is really helpful is because you can see that the Palestinian state has been fragmented. So
you've got 3 sections.
Yeah, so that bit at the top is Acre, which ancient Palestinian city that I've been recently visiting in the game of Assassin's Creed.
Nice.
And then the bit underneath that, like in the middle, the whole area is called the West Bank. And there are various regions in the West Bank like Jenin, Nablus, Ramallah, etc. And then the bit at the bottom is Gaza, which obviously the Gaza Strip is much smaller than that now.
Yeah, so both the West Bank and the Strip and the Gaza Strip are a lot smaller. So now it's like this, I think. Is it like this?
Yeah, I think we can look at now a more up-to-date map as well.
I don't even know how to...
Go back to the other tab, the Google tab. And the
here we
disappearing Palestine map
is a good one. Illustration of...
Yeah, because you've got the UN plan there, and then you can see in the third version of the map here, that what Israel actually took by 1949 was more than what the partition plan proposed, so that was already really bad. So the Gaza Strip now is that tiny strip of land, and the West Bank is that area on the west bank of the Jordan River. But they actually took all of that section of Akka, in North Palestine as well.
But also, like, that's so patchy, right? Like the kind of fragmented. It's not really a patch of land anymore. It's just like little tiny pieces.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and this kind of gets us into what we were going to talk about with regards to the settlements that the co-op is talking about. So basically, all of this happened and all of this was rubbish anyway. But then...
so we can go back to this map? Is that helpful? Yeah.
So all of this was rubbish anyway. But then in 1967, because basically over 20 years there was like Arab-Israeli conflict, quote unquote, like guerrilla warfare and like Palestinian resistance and resistance from neighboring countries, etc. And then in 1967 Israel launched an offensive where the only land that was Palestinian land that was remaining was the West Bank and the Gaza Strip here. Israel invaded these two areas, and in what is known as the 6-Day War, and they established a military occupation in those areas. And since 1967, they've been building settlements in those areas, which is just one of many like activities which is illegal according to the UN. But so when people talk about it, so that's why this is so patchy, right? because in 1967 they took this, and then since then they've been building settlements in that land, which is why it's even smaller now. Yeah. So when the co-op talks about not trading with illegal Israeli settlements, they're talking about the settlements like here. And there aren't currently any settlements in the Gaza Strip because Israel supposedly pulled out of the Gaza Strip in 2005, but then they established like a blockade on Gaza, and they still like control the land, sea, and airspace of Gaza. So it's still
currently, I mean, like as we speak, they are currently launching a ground offensive into the Gaza Strip. So.
And they've expressed the intention to build new settlements.
Yeah. So they are actively doing it now, which is why. So there was a 10-day, was it 10 day or a 7-day supposed ceasefire, or humanitarian pause, as our government loves to say. Not particularly humanitarian to just go back to the bombing after. So yeah, it was a pause. The pause is now over. And Israel have gone back to bombing Gaza, and and potentially, I mean, it's not worse than before because before was horrendous, but they are doing it with a new sense of I don't know, enablement, I guess, from the way that the whole rest of the world has been about calling for a ceasefire, which is useless.
Yeah, so if we go back to the co-op statement based on what we've just kind of explained, then like it's good, but it's not enough, right? Because they're saying that they don't trade with illegal Israeli settlements, which is just the settlements like in the West Bank, but they categorically say that they are not boycotting Israel, and they continue to do business with Israel 48, which is a settler colonial state. So if you're shopping at the co-op, like if you live in the UK, if you're shopping at the co-op, I would still
be cautious,
on the lookout for Israeli products. But
I mean, it's better than Tesco, which is just everything.
Yeah, honestly, go find some brown people who run a grocery store.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a market. There's so many like nice, like we walked past it this morning, like food markets and stuff near me that I need to buy produce from more often because, it's probably like I probably don't need to check. It's probably safer that I'm not. Yeah, whereas when I'm in Tesco and I'm buying things for convenience, I'm checking every fucking label. Especially like actual like produce like avocados and things like that. It's and like they will just stock one type of thing and it will be from the same country. So if they have Israeli avocados, that all of their avocados will be Israeli. Like that's thank God for Ethernet cables.
Certain things like Sabra might be more obvious. Sabra hummus is just on the BDS list, right? So just don't buy it. That one's nice and easy. SodaStream, I don't know loads about SodaStream. I know that it's like a stupid machine which carbonates water.
It makes like fizzy water, which is arguably the worst liquid
kind of water
in the world.
I'm not we don't stand sparkling water here.
I'm not a sparkling water girly, but like I mean, I can understand if you're like getting like a fruit juice and carbonating it, I'm like, okay, I can see the point in that, but just the water, I'm like, no. But there are other things other than SodaStream that did the same thing. So
I mean, does SodaStream own like other? That would be a question I have. I don't really know. I don't know. That's something to do some more research into. My area doesn't have a lot, but my mum usually buys meat and stuff at Asian shops. Yeah, I mean, you literally like you can't go wrong. Yeah, I think a tough one for a lot of people is like, so it is on the BDS list to boycott produce. So checking if produce is Israeli and stuff. is important, but it can be quite difficult. So sometimes if you're worried about that, then buying produce from like an Asian shop might be a good idea. Also things like dates, you can buy Palestinian dates from like an Asian shop or something, but also if you've never heard of them before, there's this incredible, you look very cozy.
I feel very cozy. This is an infinitely better situation for me. Okay.
There's this this really great organization called Zaytun, which just means olive in Arabic, and they stock Palestinian produce, and you can order it online. I ordered some olive oil from them the other day, and it was delicious.
Nice.
So yeah, we got some options.
I might be doing an order. I want to get some good olive oil.
It's so good.
Because the one we've got is shit right now, but also I just want... We go through it so quickly that I just want a big thing of it.
Yeah, no, I recently bought a 1 litre because they were out of the 5 litre size. But you can buy olive oil from Zaytun, and Palestinian olive oil is really delicious. Mm-hmm. You'll never go back.
Yeah.
I also brought some frika, which I've never cooked with before. Ooh. I'm really excited to try that, but that's like something native to Palestine and grown in Palestine.
Interesting.
That I'm gonna research some recipes and stuff.
Nice.
I'll let you all know how that goes.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
I think they also sell like olive oil soap.
Yeah.
Which is a Palestinian staple in like Nablus. Nablus-y soap.
I was gonna say, this is not relevant to the stream, but we can chat it out. We could go at some point this week to Cafe Palestina if you'd like. Because I've been thinking
Palestina in Kentish Town.
Yeah, I've been thinking of getting some gifts from there and stuff. So
yeah, like,
could be a cute vibe.
Be cute. If you live in London or if you ever visit London, Cafe Palestina is a cute place. And
they have obviously delicious food, but they also have lots of like things made in Palestine. So like lots of ceramics and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
They've got a lot of ceramics, embroidery. Yeah. I think Hebron is, or I think in Arabic Hebron is Al Khalil. I think that's the name of the city. Mm-hmm. But Al Khalil is well known for its ceramics. I think I have some like goblets at home that a friend bought for me that were made in Al Khalil.
That's so nice.
They're really beautiful. So yeah.
God, you just think about like how far they've had to come, and also like how much of a nightmare it must be to like make sure they don't break in transit. Damn. Okay,
well, we've got the game.
We're here. We're back. We're so back. For some reason my controller's now not wanting to work.
Oh no.
Okay.
It's always something.
Really is. Come on, we can do this. I'm just gonna unplug it and replug it.
I've been faffing about with this a lot this week with Assassin's Creed.
I'm so sorry, everyone.
It's okay.
It's because I wasn't clicking on it. I'm silly. Okay, right. Okay, we don't have to do that.
It's literally fun.
We're not playing Captain Spirit. I thought you did do it for the stream recording, or like the Let's Plays, right?
Yeah, me and Diaz played Captain Spirits on the channel. Oh, I should put my headphones on.
Yeah.
Wild world.
Okay.
There were 2 wolf brothers.
Here we go.
Living in a home there with their papa wolf. They all lived happily together, but one day, hunters took their dad away. Forever. So now the brothers were alone, and they had to find a new home. They started a journey through the great big forest.
I know we talked a bit last time about the voice acting, but holy shit.
Sorry, one second. I'm gonna lower the volume on my end a bit so I can hear you. Hello.
I just said, I know we talked about it last time, but the voice acting is
so good. The voice acting is really
they eventually found
is really good. It's really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And were able to eat in peace.
Honestly, I think like across the Life is Strange games, there's some really fantastic performances.
Just try to tie them up.
Obviously this game is just not talked about enough, not hyped up enough, so we're always here to hype it up more.
Yeah.
How to survive.
But like,
find a warm
you know, episode 4 of the first Life is Strange, Ashley Birch's performance makes me cry.
Yeah.
You know, when they find Rachel's.
Yeah. They're like,
That's how they found
Yeah.
themselves even further,
That's a lot.
headed to the faraway land of their pop, where they hope to find peace.
Choose wisely. No save file. Okay, so it's just going to automate some decisions from The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah. It's been a while.
So basically, I think some
Isn't
of
it
the
like-
possible endings are around like
To our grandparents. I would not want this dedicated to me as a grandparent, actually.
absolutely not. I think some of the endings are basically around whether or not Claire comes to the house and whether she suspects anything.
Right.
You know, at the end of the episode.
Yes, I remember.
Oh, mushroom.
Mushroom.
So, yeah, for people who don't know, The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit is like a free prequel that was launched as like in the lead up to Life is Strange 2. And you play as Chris, who appears in this episode. We'll talk about it more when we get to it, but Chris's mother died and his dad is
That one's too easy. Look,
in a lot of pain
Don't brag.
and drinking a lot.
It was too heavy for you a few days ago.
And basically like abuses him. And by the end of the episode, like Claire, who is Sean and Daniel's grandmother, can like come over to the house and either she suspects that there's some abuse happening or she doesn't
let's
suspect
try to lift
anything.
something else.
And
Not
it
too
depends
heavy,
on some
though.
of your like smaller decisions.
I'm a little tired.
Mushroom. Can someone
so glad Daniel
Photoshop
took this little
Mushroom
girl
to be
with us.
wearing a keffiyeh?
Yeah.
It's not hard, you just have to Photoshop his bandana.
You could try and lift Mushroom?
Are you kidding? I don't want to hurt her.
That would be funny.
Yeah, you're probably
That would be funny to
Chaos.
us.
Let's leave the puppy.
Sorry.
Chaos. No, don't apologize. That's funny. That's chaotic though.
That is chaotic.
I think I did it once.
I just wanted to see
Um,
what he'd say, honestly.
Yeah. I mean,
How
I
about
can see
trying
how
out
that
that
would
rock
hurt
over
her.
there?
Yeah, I mean, I
One more
would
time.
actually. I assumed it wouldn't happen, which is why I was like, oh, I'll try
The
it.
day before. It's too far. I can't reach it.
Just one more time.
Well, your big sibling mode is going to be on high
Yeah.
alert this episode. I would
Yeah.
I would say that this episode's probably one of the more like high.
More
high-
like grab the back of his hoodie and pull him back constantly.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Sometimes he looks so scared of himself.
mm,
We need to work this through. How about that one?
I can do it with the small rocks, but not the big ones.
You can do this. Trust me.
Also, I gotta
Just
say,
Relax.
they're not wearing enough
Focus.
layers for this cold.
No. I mean, like, considering we're indoors right now, I mean, what temperature is... I mean, it's not cold enough yet to snow in London. And we are wearing several layers just inside.
Yeah.
And it's, like, snowing there.
Yeah, which is not meant to be a like criticism of the game design or anything.
No,
but just
it's
to point
deliberate.
out that like, you know, obviously they're homeless and they don't have much. So they must be freezing cold.
Whoa!
right now.
Holy shit!
I did it.
Like a boss. You're getting good at
You
this.
see that mushroom? That was the biggest rock ever.
Yeah, their fingers, they don't have any gloves.
Like, it makes me cold just looking at them.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, because obviously your extremities, like, get cold first. Because your body heat, like, goes into your core to keep your, like, vital functions going.
Still got the condom.
Still got the
Still got the
condom.
weed pipe.
Do the condoms come into play in episode 3?
They probably do, yeah.
'Cause I don't really
I
know.
hope they do.
You got a weed pipe as well?
Yeah. It's because I decided to...
To grab it?
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I think that it's perfectly reasonable that if Sean has the opportunities to smoke a little weed, that like he would.
Oh, Daniel's inventory. Pine cones. A random little trinket.
Oh, look at those otters.
They're so cute. Are they otters or are they meant to be
thank you,
seals?
Miss Mango. See you later. Thank you for
Oh
dropping
yeah,
by.
no, thank you for dropping by. Sorry we faffed
Seals?
about so much.
Are they seals?
I
Are
don't know, they
otters?
kind of look like seals
Look
to
at their
me.
little
I
faces.
fucking love seals. So as much as I love raccoons, in fact,
Raccoons are great.
my seal obsession started very young. So me and my family went to Cornwall a lot, like
Okay.
growing up, and we went to this place. There was like a seal sanctuary near where we went to a lot, and I was obsessed.
I mean,
I also
so
have
cute.
like in my room at home, like in my parents' house, there's like loads of like ceramic little seals because they had lots of like gift shops
Aw,
nearby and stuff,
cute.
and they're all like hand painted and stuff. They're really lovely.
That's really cute.
Fucking love seals. They're so good.
Is that Lila on the last page?
Yeah.
Sad.
He wrote down her number just in case, which is really
Heartbreaking.
obviously because he couldn't keep his phone.
Sad wolf. Look at the sad wolf face. Yeah, so they talk about basically like how they've been surviving in these entries, right?
Yeah, so they got some layers, but I mean obviously like in a charity thrift store.
Slept in someone's shed. Charity thrift store. stole
Harry
some
was
stuff.
cool. I don't know who Harry was.
Yeah, I guess they just like met some people who helped them out.
Yeah.
So
Slept in someone's backyard shed, would not recommend. The sock walk. Sleeping in a shelter. Fake names, didn't seem to give a fuck. No one seemed to give a fuck here. They even let Mushroom in.
invisible. It's interesting that like he just writes invisible and in underlines it because I feel like a lot of houseless people have like expressed the same feeling that
It's
like
feeling invisible.
feeling invisible, feeling like nobody sees them as like being human or even being there.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's something that I think about a lot. Like even if I don't have any change on me or something,
I still
like,
try and say hi.
I at least like look at the person,
Yeah.
like say hello to them,
Yeah.
like because like that is a human being.
Yeah.
Just walking past them and not acknowledging
And they're also
them is,
talking
like,
to me, and I don't want to be like, I don't want to just straight up ignore, unless there's like someone that I'm actively scared by, which most of the time, like, I mean, like 99% of the time with a homeless person, I am not scared of them. Like,
yeah.
you know, I'm not in fear for my safety, so I will engage, and I would always do that with a non-homeless person. So like, why wouldn't I do it with a homeless person, you know?
Yeah, obviously it's like it seems like a small thing, but it makes a big difference. And I don't know, these days like less and less people have changed because of like cashless stuff,
which must be so hard.
which is really difficult. And I don't know, so if I don't have change on me, sometimes I see if I can take out some cash, or I offer to buy something.
Yeah.
Just like if you're like you're not in a rush, like it doesn't take much.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. Like just treat people like people at the end of the day. That's it.
Definitely. I just want to say I really like this sketch of like Daniel and Mushroom on the bed. Like, I don't know, obviously it feels very like powerful, but it's also just that little lump of Mushroom just like huddled up and like, yeah.
Oh, Mushroom. I think a lot of people also like judge homeless people for having pets.
Right.
But
it makes me so angry. Like there was one time when I was coming from a night out in Norwich, and these two guys were like just being so horrible to this homeless man, and he had a dog, and the reason they were being horrible to him was they were like, you shouldn't have a dog, you shouldn't be keeping a dog, like you're not feeding that dog enough, it's really skinny. The friends I was with, it was like the most chaotic night. The friends I was with, one of them trains dogs, so she like knows a lot about dogs, and she was just giving this dog like a little wellness check while I was like yelling at these guys, like screaming at them. They also tried to feed their pizza to the dog, and I was like, I'm sorry, fuck off. You're not feeding the dog any better, honey. But also he was like, the guy was just sitting there like, it's my sister's dog. Like, she just let me keep her for the night. Like,
yeah, like,
it's just like so.
Like, literally have a shred of humanity.
Literally.
Again, like,
I ended
just,
up
like,
throwing a bin bag at them.
like, okay, just like the stuff that we've talked about before with like drinking and drugs and stuff, like like having a pet,
Yeah.
like it's comforting. You have like a presence, like a living being that you like share a life with, that you love and that you care about, and then I don't know, like suddenly you lose your home, like of course you're gonna want to keep your pet, and it's not your fucking fault that you can't feed the pet, right?
Also, I'm not against like homeless people getting dogs, like
just
getting dogs or getting. I mean, obviously there are stray animals, and often like there might be stray animals that they found. Like, I am not against that at all. Like, if you found a runaway pet, like you know, like it's just there should be no judgment around that, because it's like the one person, or the one being in your life who's like constantly there and constantly there for you and with you, which is not
which is like, I don't know, like I feel already like strongly enough that like my cat is my family, and like I don't know, we've been talking about this kind of personally, that like over the last couple of months there have been quite a few like videos and photographs and stuff of like people in Gaza who either like they lose their home, like their home gets bombed and destroyed, and they are trying to like rescue cats, or they've lost their cat and they're fucking devastated that they've lost their cat, like their cat's dead or just run away and they don't know what's happened to their cat, which is fucking devastating. Or people fully, they've been like, you know, they've been displaced, they've been trying to figure out what to do, they've been like on the run and they're being forced to be on the run, and if they find stray cats they'll take care of the cats.
Like there was like a video of a kid that just like, you know, and like what I mean, obviously a lot of it gets me, but some of it just really hits in a way that makes me just sob. And there was this like video of a child like holding this cat, and this cat was so traumatized, like they just weren't even moving, but he was like saying like, oh, you know, she stays with my grandma, like she goes to sleep with my grandma when the bombs hit and stuff like that, like for comfort, and like, but she's like, we found her and she's ours now, and it just really like, and he's so happy to have her, and it's like, God, like just the, obviously especially for children, especially for children, like it's such a coping mechanism as well to like distract with other things, or like, you know, as we were saying last week about like playing and things like that, but like to have another thing to take care of, but also that gives you comfort, is so vital. And like it's fine.
No, it's a
not
lot.
fine,
it's, like
but
it's very like painful to think about, and
it's like I don't want to, because obviously as well as a white person talking about Gaza, I don't want this to come across as like I only care about the animals. I don't. I care about everyone there, and I care about the fact that like humans like me who have pets like I do are losing their pets, or are like can't find them, and or they are dying.
Well, I guess you can empathize with like how horrific that would be.
And like
on a human level.
It's, I mean, obviously so much of this gets me, but I think because it is such a like core thing for me, it's like when there was a video of like someone finding like a bombed house, and there was like a picture of a K-pop star in there, and like loads of people were commenting like, this person is just like me. And I think it's just those little things that like really keep you connected to, because I think it can get so much of it, like you can't necessarily connect to all of it, but there are just these moments of just like pure kind of, oh God, like that is me,
and that's
really something that you know, like it's that intense empathy that you feel, and that's really important. Like it's really important to keep reaching for that. But I just wanted to make sure people know I'm not just going, oh no, but what about the animals in the crisis, you know? Because it's not. Something that I think about as well is the fact that like Palestinian people have the fact that like they
are showing such like a reverence for all life, like not just human life,
Yeah.
is something that I find really moving. Like when I see videos like that, because I don't know, I think that like our like anthropocentric, so like centered around human beings, like individualistic, like capitalistic culture that we live in here in the West, like one of the things is that like people don't have any love and respect for any life, like including animals.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, we could get into like how our society like structurally treats animals and how horrific it is, but
yeah. Sorry.
okay.
So, leaving town. I mean, I don't know if this is fully a slur, but I definitely don't want to say it.
Where? Oh yeah, we don't have to say that.
Addict at the shelters almost snatched our stuff last night. Daniel freaked out and lights flickered. Can't risk another incident. Heading out for the forest again. Too dangerous to have him around people for now. I'm so tired. Yeah, they had a meeting up with a geologist. Interesting.
For a second I thought that said Mr. Jefferson.
Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, Mount Jefferson. Told her we were on a survivalist trip. Most accurate lie I've ever told. They found a house. Hansel and Gretel style. Mice Palace, apparently.
The Yellow Jackets parallels.
Settled in, had to leave Daniel to look for food. He hates me, I hate myself for leaving him alone. Sean. Hope I don't get lost. Nearest town is 15 miles away across the forest. No way I can commute there every day. Managed to steal canned food from a couple stores. Found the rest in the garbage. Getting good at this, but not proud. And then he's written down like the times that certain tins take. I think we can last
2 weeks, around 2 weeks.
More or less 2 weeks on these. We'll need to stock up again after. Found my way back. Daniel okay, but he broke some stuff around the house trying to use his power. We'll try to help him control it. Practice starts tomorrow. And then
we got some sketches. I just finished Yellow Jackets a few weeks ago and it broke me. We're not going to talk Yellow Jackets spoilers because some people haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it either.
But I fucking love Yellow Jackets. I love it so much. We can talk about it separately, maybe in the Discord server, under spoiler warnings.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
Also, the little raccoon drawings are making me happy. But also, he's done Trash Panda Persona, and I'm like,
he's a furry.
Persona?
What are you gonna do? Yeah, yeah.
Daniel got sick. And yeah, there we are. So we can see now we're at the abandoned house.
Mount Washington. You can see Mount Washington, which is one of the songs in the Life is Strange soundtrack. That's my contribution.
1452 Lame Avenue, Seattle. Wow. He's so edgy. Right, okay.
So where are they now?
So, sorry. They are...
they're in Oregon.
Yeah. They're near Mount Washington.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Which is... So they are... Oh, no, that's just collectibles, I think. Yeah.
Cool, yeah, that's... We're at the abandoned house, so that's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, okay. So yeah, being near a mountain at
Canyon
this time
was
of year
moving
is
so
probably
fast.
not fun.
No.
Wonder what... Is this one too big?
Yeah, it's just way too massive.
Aw.
Okay, we just need to look for something more manageable for him.
Can you throw this rock in the river?
Oh yeah, just watch. Splash!
Splash!
Okay,
He's so real.
let's show Daniel some more stuff to play with before we call it a day.
Okay.
Dude, it's getting late and cold. Let's get done with this practice session.
Okay. Alright, we hear you, game.
I hear you. Oh.
How about those cans?
That should
Can
be
you
fun.
fly them all together
Yeah.
without dropping any?
Sure. Look.
Daniel is very, very cute.
He is adorable. Oh. He's so talented.
That's awesome, dude.
My
That's
baby
my
boy.
son.
That's my son. I am their white mom.
Come on, dude. That's just the start.
It's okay, I'm the
Let's
brown
try
mom.
something else.
I'm looking into getting
You're
the
like Coach
clip
Ed.
from last time.
Like powers.
So when the next clip is, I think when the next episode's out,
Snowball thing?
I want to do a TikTok
Not
of
yet.
me just turning, like the setup, and then the me
Young
turning to you going,
apprentice.
they're called Daniel and
See if you
Sean,
can
of course they have a
stop
white
this in
mom,
the air.
because I don't think it happens till the second
Okay.
part.
But you
So,
better let it-
I feel
like
like,
the time you gave me a bruise? Serious.
You won't let me, right?
Okay, I guess you
Try.
guys are not like other white moms.
oh, I would be. I don't want to see myself like that, actually.
Okay, if you ever have babies, we'll just make sure they're white babies.
I mean, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I know that you're not.
My
into it.
cats.
If you ever, yeah,
My
that's
cats
fine.
are my babies.
If that ever was the case, then I'd be like,
Yeah,
then I would talk you out of,
red flag.
yeah, having.
Oh,
Aw,
I think you
that
need to.
sucked.
what do I need to do?
How about one more?
It's kind of to his side so that
I
he
did,
can
yeah, I did
be
try
like a bit
to.
more like away from his body, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do
Ready?
like a-
like there-ish. That should be. Yeah.
Hey.
Because he's
Yes!
upset if you hit him. I think.
Look
Yeah,
what I
well,
can do, Sean.
reasonable.
I knew that you could. I've taught you well.
Such a baby
It's
boy.
it's
You-
interesting because like
you're a
there's
master
a lot
student.
that I really like about the way that the little choices frame like
Hey,
what's a
that still
productive
sounds
way
nasty.
of like
You're not
raising a
getting better.
child.
Yeah. Like
I'm fine.
maybe throwing a snowball
Just
at him, something a brother
a
would
little
do, is not the thing a
Well.
parent would do.
You need to rest
Yeah.
now,
Perhaps.
Yeah, interesting point.
superhero.
Just like I feel like there is some nice framing
Can
around
we
the
go
fact
back
that
now?
like
Yeah.
I don't know,
Let's just fill
like
up the
Daniel
canteens
wants to
before
be
we head back.
supported, and like he doesn't want to be
That
like
cough has been going on for
antagonized or
days, Daniel.
teased or like
I really
shamed
don't
or
like that.
anything.
Mm.
I told you.
And that
I'm
manifests in a lot of like little ways,
just
and I think
been
that it's
outside for a
actually
while.
like a really nice approach to being like, what do your children need,
Yeah.
emotionally and physically. And not
The
even just children.
Helitanker's over the wildfire zone. Get ready for water extraction. Ranger Diaz.
Nice work, Daniel. Glad to see our training sessions are paying off.
Thanks to you. So glad I don't have to touch that water. It's too fucking cold. Oops. Sorry. I said fucking.
I'm maybe gonna tell him not to swear.
Sure.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
dude.
I just feel like
Watch
I
it.
don't want him to use that
Seriously.
language in front of other
Okay.
people, rather than I don't think that kids should swear. I just think that's gonna cause more trouble than it needs to, and like
Yeah.
What
It's
did you
also-
find,
Yeah.
Shrew?
a respect thing, I guess, as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that like, I don't know. Like
Finding
I've
that
talked to
house was
some
a
friends
miracle.
before about the fact that like I
I'm
think
afraid
that
we
I
can't stay
swear
here much longer.
like quite a
Gotta
bit,
leave these
but
poor
like I
buddies
have some
alone.
friends who just have like boundaries around that.
Hey,
Like,
Yeah.
they're not really
It's been a
comfortable
while
around that
since we
kind of language and stuff, and I think that's fine. And I think that like with children, like I wouldn't want to punish them for swearing,
No.
but like I would want to, I guess, like teach them that, you know, some language isn't like respectful and some language is like appropriate in certain situations.
Yeah, I
and-
think it's more like it's not for all the time, and so because it's not for all the time, you like kind of have that conversation of like, you know,
Yeah,
in these contexts it's okay, in this context it's okay, in other contexts it's not, like, you know.
yeah. I think you can like teach them what the words mean and like what's appropriate, and I guess just teach them about like respect and boundaries, but not
Yeah.
not police.
Yeah,
Or
this
punish
is it.
them,
And
if
like
that
I
makes
feel
sense.
very like I've had issues before, like with jobs where like, and this is very dependent on like the manager I have and stuff like that. But I've been told off for swearing too much before, And not
Really?
like
A job?
just like in the office, not
Right,
like as
okay.
not like in meetings or like in front of like. There was one time I think I said I did swear like in front of some like stakeholders or something, but it was like quiet. But like it's something I don't often think about because most of the people I surround myself with, like I opt to surround myself with, are not going to be fussed about it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's useful to know, to be able to kind of read the room on that, and that's something I'm not the best at sometimes. But also, I
Yeah.
think when it's just like in an office context where pretty much everyone is the same level as me, I think it's not really.
Yeah. I think generally I'm pretty relaxed about it. I think that, like, you know, again, I do want to have kids someday. I think, inshallah, like, if I was raising my kids, then a big thing for me would be teaching them what words mean.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think a lot of parents, they just, like, tell their kids, don't say this, don't say this.
Yeah, without
But,
the
like,
context.
But, like, they never teach their kids actually, like, what do these words mean? Like, how can it affect people when you use these words?
Yeah.
And I think that that's what's important at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Yeah, I think there's definitely word, like, I mean, obviously some swear words are
bad.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, like,
violent, to be honest,
yeah,
like misogynistic. Or,
yeah, like are slurs in
slurs,
in many ways.
yeah.
Like, obviously a lot of slurs are considered swear words, but like they're slurs. Yeah, I'm not the same, Lost in Fairy. Like, I don't think my mum's particularly sweary, but like I just have grown to do it quite a lot, and I just don't really think about it a lot of the time.
My
and...
mum used to swear at me like a bunch in Arabic, and then be really like shitty about me swearing in English.
Wow,
there's like a lot to unpack.
That's a lot
there,
to unpack
but,
there.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like hearing people swear in Arabic is something that's like very natural and normal to me. Although I didn't even really understand what a lot of those words like actually meant. I just knew that they were like charged until like a bit later on.
That makes sense.
But obviously, like, there's a whole other conversation about swearing in different languages.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. When my mum swears in English, it's weird.
I hope it wasn't eaten by a bear or worse.
What's worse than a bear in Nano?
I don't know. Wolves?
Don't worry.
Oh boy.
We're the only wolves around.
I don't know if we should prank him.
No, I don't want to prank him.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
Sean?
because I've had a
Family
friend
that
say
lived
to me
here.
before, like, oh, I just like
What do you think happened?
I don't want to like, you know, police what you're doing, but I don't feel super comfortable when people
They
swear a lot.
must
And
have
I was like,
moved
that's
out.
fine. I'll just not
Maybe to
swear
another
when I'm with
state.
you. That's
But-
literally fine.
They left all their stuff behind?
I don't know,
And like, I
man.
try not to swear when I'm around children.
Maybe they
and
live in
stuff as much as
Florida
I can
and
as well.
only come here every 10 years. Maybe they got tired of these woods.
Well, I'm glad they left.
I don't know.
This is our land
I just
now.
automatically
I just-
told him that they probably moved out
I
rather
miss
than
my
that they might be
friends.
dead.
And my room.
I didn't really think about that, but
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, is that lying? Because we don't know either way.
We don't know
right?
either way.
Yeah.
So we legitimately don't know either way.
I don't know if
so.
I could gut an animal anyway.
Oh!
The Yellow
I
Jacket's
forgot to check
parallel.
our traps today.
Sorry, I'll stop.
No, it's okay.
Daniel's getting cold.
Okay, yeah.
Let's get
we'll
inside and warm him up.
Let's do it. Oh, I'm just gonna quickly
We really nailed it with this two-headed snow ogre.
snoga.
stop. This is a lot like the one that Chris has in his.
Unless
Yeah.
he wasn't even afraid of them
Backyard.
anymore. Right, puppy?
I don't need to check everything.
Yeah, I feel like we'll probably come back to the animal conversation soon.
Yeah, we will.
Daniel's not getting any better. He needs medicine and a real house.
Oh, look at him.
Wiggle.
Ooh, cold.
Don't worry. We'll make a fire. We're pros now. Dude, that cough doesn't sound too good.
Nah, I'm okay. Just cold.
Shroom is too
You
cute.
kicked ass today.
Yeah.
Level up.
I did. That was so cool. It's getting easier every day. no, Sean. This is a haunted house.
More like, uh-oh, it's time to go over the rules.
Oh, here we go.
I told you about showing off.
I was just...
It's the name of the episode.
The rules.
Let's find out.
One.
What's the first one?
To pick up the phone. You know where he's going is he's drunk and alone. 2. Don't let him in. You know, kick him out again. 3. Don't be his friend. You know he's gonna wake up in your bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you ain't getting over him. I got new rules, I count them.
The second rule is...
Sorry, I missed like the rest of that, but like, yeah.
Wow.
A banger.
Nice, Daniel.
Doodle
That's
Peep.
usually the hardest rule for you.
Love you, Doodle Peep.
I love you, Doodle Peep.
And the final rule?
Who I'm pretty sure is pro-Palestine, so we can continue
Yeah,
to,
I mean,
to love her.
Come on.
Yeah.
You
Her
can do it.
politics are
Okay.
pretty good generally. Obviously, she's very involved with like,
Avoid danger?
well, I say very,
Run
like for a
from
expat, like pretty involved with like
This is
Kosovo
the most
politics and stuff
important
as well, and like
Yeah.
Kosovo
why?
liberation and yeah.
Yeah, pretty
I don't
dope.
know.
Not something I know loads about.
No, like I mean, when
If
it
my power
first,
can
when she was
help
first
us.
talking about it, I was like, oh god, should I be worried? And I had to do some research, and I was like, no, I'm not worried. All is well.
Ooh,
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Oh, thank you so much for the follow. I don't know how you want us to read that.
Mind, Exky mind, Ziggy mind. Don't know. Okay, I can't remember what the question was.
But thank you for the follow.
Presumably powers in a situation of danger.
Okay, yeah, so some of these... Okay, yeah, we should be paying more attention. to
Yeah,
some
we
of
really
these
should. This is
examples.
quite important.
Okay, so this is with regards to using his powers, right?
Yeah.
So, honestly, like, my feeling about this is that, like most things, it's not helpful to be like,
No.
under no circumstances ever is it okay to do this thing, because again, like most things, sometimes there are circumstances in which like you have to do a thing.
Some of it which may come up this episode.
Yeah. And well, I guess we talked about that with like stealing as well, right?
Yeah.
But so he talked about basically like the main rule is just to like not use your power.
Yeah.
But what other rules do you have? I don't know.
Should we look it up? That might be easier.
That's okay.
But
But like
just look up the like decision tree.
but I do think that like only as a last resort is a good thing to say.
Yeah.
But like you know, if there's an absolute like emergency situation, that's fine. And again, it's like what we said with stealing, like there are certain circumstances where like stealing is fine. And there are certain circumstances where murder,
Yeah.
killing, you know, like I don't know, maybe it's self-defense or something. I mean, you know, like most like women.
It doesn't say exactly what the choice is. Sorry.
It's okay. Like, if you guys don't know, like most women in the Western world, like certainly in the US and I think in the UK, who are incarcerated on murder or manslaughter charges, are incarcerated because they were defending themselves against an abusive partner.
Yeah, I think that statistic's pretty high.
Yeah, that statistic is like the majority of women incarcerated in. I mean, obviously there's also the other thing being drug charges.
Yeah.
And obviously we're mostly talking about racialized women.
Mm-hmm.
But like personally, even if I did believe in prison, which you know I'm sure that we'll probably get into that conversation during this game as well. Like, I don't think a woman who like kills a man who is abusing or attacking her is in the wrong generally.
No.
Like
I mean,
what
again,
like sometimes like
I don't
what
think
choice-
that prison would be a helpful solution in that anyway, but like yeah, I don't think that is useful as a solution, quote unquote, because it's not who's that helping.
Yeah.
But also yeah, like he sucked. She deserved it.
Yeah, well, and many of these situations, like, there's literally, like, I don't know, a situation where there's no choice. Like, maybe she's being, like, physically assaulted and, like, I don't know, pulls a knife out to defend herself. Like, what's she gonna do?
He ran
And,
into
like,
my
how
knife 10 times. No, obviously. Sorry.
No, it was funny. But, But like that's not like that's fine. That's literally fine.
Yeah.
You definitely don't deserve to be punished for it.
Especially when so many women in like abusive situations are very isolated from their community as well. So it's
Absolutely,
like that is a lot. That's pretty much a last resort in most cases. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. I mean,
I
think
don't
it's
remember what the
literally
question was, but I'm gonna say only as a last
Only
resort.
as a total
Using his power,
last
I think.
resort.
Yeah.
How will I know that?
If there's any other way of helping, do that first.
I think that's a strong
Yeah.
Maybe if
moral.
I also think
boundary.
that's
I've used
what
it
Esteban
before.
would have said.
Dad might still be here.
Well, I think I would say out of your control.
Daniel, you didn't even know. That shit was out of your control.
But look what happened to the policeman.
I do not give a shit.
Maybe this power is a curse.
Fuck the policeman.
Where do we tell him, son?
Police
We have no
are not here to protect you.
Son, let me tell you something about the police.
Yeah, all cops, as they say, are bastards. Right, let's get some heat on
Don't
in
worry,
this,
Mushroom.
this place.
I'm okay.
Oh,
Good puppy.
She must be hungry.
she's
What
so
about you?
good.
I'm always hungry.
Then let's grub out. I'll make us some dinner.
I saw some
Yeah.
videos
Before
the
she
other
eats
day
us.
of like, you know, obviously with the situation in Gaza, access to food has been such a difficult thing. And I saw that like people, obviously their houses have been destroyed as well. Some people have been like using like, I don't know, like old like olive oil cartons and
Shit.
like stones
Where did I put
and
my lighter?
paper to make like
Yes.
makeshift stoves and stuff like that. And I don't know, it's pretty like, obviously it's awful that people are in that situation, but it's pretty
We
incredible
scored
to
with
see
these
like the
clothes.
resourcefulness
+5 street cred.
of that.
I'm trying to find the lighter.
The space scuba is hovering on a dead planet.
In the bedroom maybe?
Yeah. Well, that is the bedroom, right?
Criminology
set
courses
this
aren't
thing
always the best
This
at
room is
reflecting
fucking
the
cold,
realities
so
of injustice,
you put
particularly
everything you
against
didn't need in it
marginalized
and
people.
keep
Yeah,
it
that's
closed.
true. I think I would say, you know, to be fair, that most courses are going to have like a bias.
Time to
Like
get
I
warm.
definitely like I studied
I'm flying over the city.
literature
No
and
danger in sight. Copy?
that certainly had a bias, you know, what like a white supremacist bias and like a structural bias.
Yeah.
And that's something that you constantly have to be challenging and questioning and learning. So I think that I've never studied criminology before. I think before I became an abolitionist
Here
when I
we
was a
go.
teenager, I considered it for
Yeah.
a
Hold
while.
on, Mushroom.
But
We're gonna build a fire.
so I can't really like say personally because I don't know what those courses are like, but I guess I can imagine because we live in a world that normalizes like policing and normalizes a carceral system. So I think it's just something to always keep in mind and
I am
question,
starving.
right? Like
Guess
because
it's time to
we know
start
that
cooking.
policing doesn't work. We know that punishment and incarceration
Bad I
doesn't
can't
work.
make a pizza for us.
So that's always something to just
I
like
could start
question in the
Daniel's
back of your
delivery
mind.
service.
But that's the case with like most
Tough choice.
most disciplines. We should always be like thinking about them critically
This hot dog
and
man
how
has
they
shoes.
like
I'm the weird.
enforce
Better talk
violence
to
and
Daniel
ideology.
after dinner.
Hey,
Did you
What are you
study
cooking?
criminology as well, Faye?
Oh, I'm sorry. Here's
My
your menu
professor
choices.
taught us about harm
Ravioli
reduction. Oh, that's
or
good.
ravioli?
That's something.
okay.
Aww, that's
Never eating this again.
that's really nice.
Aw.
Well,
Sorry, I'm doing that thing where I'm trying to
No, I appreciate
trying to
it.
look after Daniel, you know.
No, I appreciate it because if I was playing this game on my own, I would be
Be chatting.
struggling.
Like there's a pot in this. Oh god. No.
Can't believe
Yeah,
how
I
much
mean,
Daniel's powers have
It's
improved over the
not
last
like
weeks.
again we are so
Daniel needs to eat something after all that
inundated in
psychic crap.
propaganda all
Yeah.
the time, and we are all
So much. I mean, it's really hard not to.
That was before you even born,
lot to absorb it. Like, there's a lot of stuff where like I critically love a crime drama even now. Like, I know they're propaganda,
I wonder how
but I'll
far
still
it
watch
can go.
them. Like, it's really hard to, because they are everywhere. Like, that kind of content is everywhere. That kind of culture is everywhere, right?
Literally
It's
everywhere,
like,
yeah.
that's why.
Yeah, and none of us are immune to it.
No.
Like, and all of us have internalized it in some way. So like, there's never going to be any judgment on like where people are at in their journeys. But we're always happy to talk about why we're abolitionists.
Yeah.
Certainly in
Dude,
this game, something
you'll
I
be
feel strongly
moving
about.
cars
When we talk about
around
the
in no
endings.
time if you keep improving like that.
You really think so?
Well, that'd be a bad idea, but you're sure at getting good at this.
Don't move any cars
Wonder if there's
around.
anyone else like that.
Esteban's spirit will come back and haunt you. Don't fuck up the cars.
He looks so serious on this picture.
Still can't believe he's gone.
It's a passport photo, isn't
I
it?
miss him so
Yeah.
much. It
Everyone looks
hurts,
serious
Sean.
in a passport photo.
I know, Daniel.
But it's
Yeah.
funny
hate it when
because
I hear
like the guy that
I
we
know,
knew was
Daniel.
so like
No.
joyful. And
Yeah.
It's okay to think about it. I do it too.
Okay. Thanks, Sean.
I wish I helped Dad more with the house chores back then.
Like, I know this house is terrible and everything, but like my London renting brain is like, you know, 10k to rent this month, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for real.
And the landlord will keep it like this.
Daniel's
It
been
will
sick
not
for
be
more than a week,
done up.
and it keeps getting worse.
Oh, gender studies. That's interesting. Within the criminology course.
Ready for today's training,
That is
puppy?
interesting.
Sit.
I mean, for people new to abolition or people
Room,
wanting to read
sit.
more about abolition,
Seriously,
one of
girl.
the best
Sit.
Mushroom.
like short
Sit,
accessible texts that you can read
Are you
on
kidding me?
You just don't know how to
abolition
talk to
is
her.
by Angela Davis.
I'll remember this.
Um,
Traitor.
let me double check the title. But
Okay, it is steaming, so I'm gonna say we serve the meal now. I know there's like a time sensitive
Okay,
thing.
dinner's ready.
Majoring in gender studies starting in January. Nice. I'm so annoyed because my university started doing a
Getting sick of ravioli.
gender studies masters just after I finished my masters, and I was like, fuck, that would have been
Wow.
so sick.
Are Prisons Obsolete by Angela Davis is like amazing introductory reading to abolition, and from the perspective of like, you know, studying criminology and thinking about gender, it's so good. Angela Davis is amazing. I have a tattoo of her face. That's how much I love her.
So she was great. I do like find her writing so much more accessible.
Yeah, I mean,
than a lot of like academic
she's
writing.
she's just incredible in so many ways. Our Prisons Obsolete has a really powerful section on basically like the incarceration of women and like gendered experiences of incarceration. And again, it's short, it's easy to read. So if gender and like criminology or abolition or what have you are of interest, then that's a great place to start. And then, you know, there's other Angela Davis to go from there. We love Ruth Wilson Gilmore, but I wouldn't consider her introductory.
No, but I also love if you want a little easy taster of Ruth Wilson Gilmore, you can go on Twitter and find the Ruth Wilson Gilmore girls like memes, which are great. You know, just a nice little early starter for 10, you know.
But some really amazing black feminist abolitionists to read.
Yeah. Are we gonna go negative, as in better than nothing, or are we gonna say it's like it'd be lovely to be eating spaghetti and truffles right now? Because I feel like the like more positive spin, or like the think of what we could be eating right now, was actually quite successful last time.
It was, and
Last
I think
episode.
it's not even like a toxic positivity or even a positivity. I feel like the framing is like, oh yeah, I wish I was eating something really nice, and you're kind of sharing that emotion with him. Instead of being like, stop complaining, it's better than
Yeah,
nothing. You know what I mean?
That was spaghetti alla Diaz. Didn't you taste the famous truffle sauce?
Yep. Plus, I love the garlic bread. And ice
I
cream.
fucking love garlic bread.
Yum.
We should make some garlic
Should make
bread.
some garlic bread.
Yeah, we've got butter, we've got garlic,
Ooh,
Make some garlic
we got
I
bread.
want some too.
Put parsley?
Huh, mushroom?
No. Actually, we don't actually have the right kind of bread, but we can make it happen.
It's okay, we can make
We've
it
got a
happen.
week. We can.
Yeah.
We've got time.
Yeah.
No, I think
So,
if it doesn't.
feeding the dog is literally fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Bon appetit, mushroom.
Man, she loves this stuff.
everyone needs to eat.
Yeah.
Come on.
And also, like, Daniel wouldn't give it to her if he wasn't like full enough, you know.
Our Prison's Obsolete is quite easy to find as a free PDF as well. If you want to buy a copy, I would recommend going to bookshop.org
Sorry.
because when you buy from bookshop.org, you support independent
Hold on.
bookstores
Yes.
and not Amazon.
I need to show
And
you something.
Hive as well as a similar one that does the same. And it will source it from like a local bookshop as well, so you can find your local independent bookshops on
Gotta
that.
show him the map.
And you can like specifically give
I
the
left
money
it
to
in
them
my
as if you
books.
bought it from them,
That's nice.
which is really
That's
nice.
pretty nice.
Because there's lots of like nice ones near me that I like to try and support.
Yeah, I really hear that. I mean, I think that one of my like more controversial like
We
political
really lucked
opinions
out
that again I'm
stumbling
always
into this
happy to
house.
talk about in depth because I'm not about that life of like pretending I'm superior to anyone. But I am a psych abolitionist. Like psychiatric abolition is something that I very strongly believe in. Yeah.
At least we have fresh water in our front yard.
Also, Campaign for Psychiatric Abolition, which is an account that I follow on Instagram
No
and
more
Twitter,
peeing at
and
night for
an amazing
Daniel.
organization,
Got
posted
so
the most amazing statement on
Lucky he didn't
Palestine
blow up the
yesterday.
You love to see it.
This is rank.
They basically said like,
Sharing with Daniel was the
this is
worst.
not a safe space for Zionists.
And you know what?
And they're so
I'm
right.
glad.
They're so
No more
right.
indoor training sessions.
They are so right.
This thing is strong as a rock.
Just collectibles.
Was there a butterfly collectible?
I think there is. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah, it's because
These
I
are, like,
it's because I got
extras.
the Arcadia
Oh,
Bay
yeah,
bundle.
so these are like the, yeah.
I think I just got it because that's what I.
Should we use some of them?
Yeah.
No.
Got the Hold to Another Universe. That's kind of a sleigh. The I Can't Sleep is a real.
I
Oh,
keep
how
meaning
we
to get
feeling?
some little like Life is Strange inspired tattoos.
Hmm.
It's been on my list for a long
I
time.
quite like this one of the tornado.
I was looking at that. I was looking
really
at that.
fun.
And I was thinking I could totally get that as a
Like I
tattoo.
just love the way the lines are. Like
Yeah.
it really
No, I
hits
love
for
it.
me.
Yeah, that's
It
great.
hits in a special little place. I do quite like the Hold to Another Universe, but I feel like tattooing that might be questionable.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah. Should we just do a little selection?
Yeah, why not?
A little. I feel like those are like solid. We can do one more.
Yeah, and we've also got the other ones we've collected if we wanted to use them.
Yeah. I think. Oh, we can do the truckers will never be homeless, hungry, or naked.
I feel like Chloe Price would enjoy that.
Yeah, she would. Damn, we missed some stuff. I quite like the bear as the keychain. Obviously, we haven't done most of rules yet, so.
Yeah, I mean, we can always change it up later as well. So.
Yeah. Okay, in that case, I'm just going to do the Hold to Another Universe for now.
Okay.
That was fun. Oh, cute. Okay.
Yeah, the running wolves. I've been thinking about that as well.
Oh, yeah.
For me, all of my tattoos are grayscale. I don't
same.
want to get a color tattoo. Otherwise, I think the blue butterfly is a really nice idea.
This
Yeah.
house is
That's a
cool, but
good tattoo idea.
it doesn't help with Daniel's health. Daniel must have been pissed that day. Don't blame him.
Shit pants.
Daniel's just like me for real. He hates white people.
Dad and Maggie and John Agath Falls, Summer 93. So in my opinion, I think this is a holiday home.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure this is a holiday home.
Yeah, I think it is.
If it's like near like some like mountains and falls and
Yeah,
stuff.
there's no way it's like a house where people live.
No,
and
I mean it's not big enough for that, but it's
not
definitely
near
like
to
a
a town or a grocery store.
No.
Like it's not.
people don't live here, so I
isn't, like, a
really
road.
don't think there's any. I mean, not that I thought there was any issue with them staying here anyway, but like, I also don't think that my analysis that I got Sean to say of like, you know,
Damn, kid.
they're not.
Where did he put it?
Oh, what am I looking for? Oops.
Yeah, the Illuminati symbol is on my list as well.
Find the map and talk to Daniel. Okay. Oh, that might be one of my stuff, I think.
I think I haven't seen Alexander Avia's self-diagnosis video. I think that
Nothing
as time
there.
goes on, my feelings about psych-abolition only get stronger though.
Daniel?
I understand why people have conflicting
What did you
feelings,
do with the map?
and I myself used to self-diagnose,
You know what I mean.
but I'm
Where's the
in a
map
very,
that
very
was
different
with my
place
stuff?
now. So I can empathize with like being on that journey,
It's in my tab.
but
Sorry, Sean.
I have a lot of reasons why I feel quite strongly about it now, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh. Hello, mushroom. No.
Okay,
Megstar,
come on,
once you
doggy.
pop, you can't stop. So
Let's go, girl.
Yeah, truly. Like,
I got my first tattoo when I
Hey,
was
man. Can you call your
20?
dog?
yeah.
They don't
Maybe?
exist.
Yeah, I think I was
Mushroom.
like 21-ish when I got mine.
Yeah.
2021 kind of age.
I think it
What a great
was
team.
This one?
Ooh, I love that.
Which actually does have kind of a Life is Strange vibe. I know that you all can't see it very well,
Time
but
to
it's
play
got
that
like a stag and like there's some mountains and waterfalls and like a moon and stuff like that.
Was it like your idea and then like the artist designed it?
I
Was
think
like
it was in a flash. I
Yeah.
think it was in a flash sheet, yeah.
I went to a cheap whatever tattoo salon place and got like this one, if you can see it.
Is that Twin Peaks?
No.
that's not Twin Peaks.
It was just a random symbol I saw on Tumblr and thought it was cool.
That's really funny.
And then
I love you, but that's really funny.
yeah, and then apparently it's Nordic as well, so I'm just like, oh god. And then this one, which is my
classic.
little
I need one of those.
Venus.
Because I'm gay.
yeah. Yeah, like love my little Venus. Although they weren't done that well. But I've been thinking of like what I might get this one adapted to, seeing as it's not actually something I particularly feel that excited about.
Yeah.
It's not really sparking joy. So,
Sean.
but I was thinking,
And it's tiny, so easy to cover up.
What the? When did he show up?
are you sneezing or are you throwing
I think he's maybe. Arthur.
No, I think he's sneezing. He's got his mouth closed.
Hmm.
Baby boy.
Arthur is the cat, by the way.
Yes. But basically my mum's maiden name was Diamond.
Oh.
And I was thinking what I could do is like add some more bits and it could turn into a diamond. Potentially.
That's cute.
Yeah.
It's small, so it'd be easy to cover
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. But yeah, I thought that could be a nice way to alter it in a
That's really nice.
meaningful way.
Daniel?
Got you.
Uncool,
Let
to be honest.
me... fine.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Okay. Good job.
Boy. Boy.
You almost shit your pants.
Of course I did, man.
Shit,
I personally hate it
Take it
when
away.
people do that shit.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not gonna
love
get
it.
mad at him because he's
No.
a kid, but
I still like the fucking jump scare he does with Sean last episode. I'm just like, read the room, Daniel. I know you don't know that your dad died, but you know something shit went on, and like you know that like Sean is not doing great. So again, he's a child. I get it, but like, yeah. Okay, so I found the map, and I'm talking to him.
please
Okay.
don't drink my water, so.
Yeah, sir, let's not do that. Okay, hang on. I have to go round to him. Oh, okay, hang on. Table, place, map. Oh my god, it's so hard to get these ones. Sir, you a menace. Yes.
There's a tree on fire on
Okay.
the wall. Oh,
I think
like a Before the Storm
it's time for us to hit the road.
reference
You're
I
not
think I can
getting
see that.
better.
in the background, like a drawing.
We're almost
Yeah.
out of supplies.
No,
Oh yeah,
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Me.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah,
like,
a
he's
bad
just like
cop
me for
that
real.
won't go away.
real.
Trust me, Daniel. You need some medicine. Look. Here.
By the way, when we meet the white people, I'm gonna complain
What's
so
that?
much.
That's where
Fair and
Karen's
fine.
parents.
I'm just letting everyone know.
That's what. That's
Our
That's
grandparents.
again. It's
Okay.
it's part of the game. You got to complain about them. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
We can
point.
go there and
Yeah.
they'll probably help us.
Why do
Probably.
you always force us to run, Sean?
It took me
Don't like-
like too long. I don't know why it took me this long. Well, I do know why, but like it took me way too long to figure out that I was mixed race. Because in like the don't look at me like that. Because
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
okay, when you hear like, you know, mixed race, biracial, and okay, those are also kind of terms that I hate because they're very race sciencey. So I will like refer to myself as mixed sometimes, but not like loads.
Yeah.
But because obviously like in media and in culture and stuff, like mixed race or biracial is like something plus white.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Like that's how we have racialized it. Like for instance, these two are biracial.
Which I think
in
makes a lot of sense because
the
like
context.
because of race science and
Yeah.
because like of this idea of like the corruption of whiteness.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like the one drop rule or blood quantum or whatever. Like it's race sciencey language, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of I really hate biracial. That's a bad
Icky.
word. I hate it.
No, I just keep singing it because there's like a song called Biracial that's like people were doing TikToks to it for a while, like making fun of like the concept. Like, you know, it's like this guy basically being like, I want a biracial woman, and it's like taking the piss out of that. So that's why I keep singing
as
it.
you should. 'Cause
That's why I keep singing it. Sorry. No need to be like, oh my god, I love this word. Biracial. That's how it sounds.
I'm
literally.
gonna go watch it.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
really funny.
It's so fucking funny.
I also love those like mixed race like slam poetry.
Oh my
spoof videos. Have you ever
God.
seen those?
Half white, half black, entirely too much, and like shit like that, you know?
Anyway, so I'm
It's giving Rupi Kaur, even though she's not actually, I don't think she's mixed race, but like,
no, she's just
she's just insufferable.
she's Punjabi, I think.
Oh, really?
Well, she's Sikh.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
think.
Yeah.
I think.
Either way.
She's got like a very Punjabi name, but
Yeah,
I
that
don't want
makes
to assume.
sense.
But I'm Arab and Pakistani at the same time. Wow, crazy.
Whoa.
But like it took me way too long to figure out that you can be like more than one kind of like
Brown.
brown.
Yeah.
That's a story for another time. I don't even know why I brought that up.
I mean, I think because the
'cause
way
we're-
we understand race is often like one skin tone plus another skin tone equals, which is not.
Well, because race isn't real.
Yeah,
Like, and this is why.
but this
like,
is often how like the kind of overarching concept of race that most people understand is color, basically, which is
yeah. Again, it's like race sciencey,
Not-
right?
yeah,
like,
exactly.
At the end of the day, like it always comes down to like reinforcing race science,
Mhm.
and that's why like sometimes I'll refer to myself as being like mixed, but most of the time I'll just say like that I'm Arab and like I'm Asian or
Yeah.
South Asian, and
Yeah.
that's like it.
yeah,
But yeah, obviously that's like a big theme from this episode that we'll like get into in a little bit. But yeah, I think I probably have a lot to unpack within myself of like how that's affected my consciousness though, because like for example, I think that my family has some like I don't think that my dad being Pakistani and my mum being Arab has been a thing that has always been easy or gone down well
interesting.
in the family. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, I see.
I'll probably tell you more later because
Yeah.
that's like quite
Okay.
quite personal, but
Yeah,
yeah.
interesting. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think yeah, raising it now because we're gonna find some things and have some interactions that are gonna go into how I assume that Claire and Stephen were really fucking weird and racist about their daughter dating
Yeah.
a racialized man.
Yeah, and I think there is, again, like there is such a again, I think we talked about it a bit last week, like the white mum, racialized dad phenomenon, and the way that often affects family structures in very unhealthy and damaging ways, and also like a lot of the time, like, so I mean, I feel like the most that I kind of know about it or hear about it, again, as someone who's doesn't have this perspective, is often mixed people, usually mixed white and racialized, another racialized ethnicity. It's usually that combination, and it will often be like, like black mixed women being like, oh, I don't know what to do with my hair because I have a white mom.
Yeah.
I think that's a very common like experience. And even just on that sense, or like, I never felt beautiful because my mom was white and I wanted to be like her, and like that kind of experience. And I think that's also very gendered as well, of course, but like, yeah, that's kind of the general, like the kind of most I'd probably hear in terms of that experience. But yeah, I think here it's going to come up a lot of just like that experience of having like basically half of your family does not really want to engage with your racialization, right? Like,
yeah, and also like half of your family is like the beneficiaries of white supremacy.
Yeah, they are oppressive, whether they try to be or not.
Yeah, and they don't like understand necessarily, or some, like in the worst cases, don't try to understand or try to acknowledge or navigate like what your experiences are.
I think as well, like this is something that might come up a bit in chapter 3 with Cassidy as well.
Yeah, well, you sure will.
Yeah. Okay, well,
so,
but also like her past as well, and things like that.
So with regards to the grandparents, or do we want to say their family, or no other options?
So obviously we're kind of going down the line of we want Daniel to be encouraged to like prize family connections. However, I also don't want to like, I don't love the idea that like family bonds are strong and reliable all the time, because they're not. Especially not for Sean and Daniel. They are not.
Also, there's like potentially he would spy a double standard because Sean is so resistant in these early episodes to talking to Karen. So I think that like, yeah, I feel conflicted. I don't really know how to respond to this one because neither of those responses is really quite how I...
Yeah, I don't want to like initially start and like, because Daniel, obviously I want him to make his own mind up equally. Like I want to warn him, but I want him to make his own mind up.
Yeah.
I feel like no other option is probably what I'd rather go with out of the two. Because again, I don't want to just be like, they're family, we have to.
But like legitimately, we do not have any other options.
Yeah.
Don't think
family is like...
It's not like we have tons
the
of
concept
options.
of family is bigger than like your relatives.
I'm just scared they're gonna think I'm a freak or something.
Man, they're gonna love you. Grandpa's super cool, and
No.
I'm sure you guys will be best buds.
Well, okay.
I just like, I don't know, me personally
Mushroom has
cannot
children
imagine
too.
having white
She's
grandparents.
part of the team.
Having white parents
What do
is
you
one
say,
thing,
girl?
but white grandparents? Unless my white grandparents were like those old people that you meet at pro-Palestine rallies.
Yeah.
The sooner the better.
Like, they exist, they're not common.
No.
It's not my grandparents, the ones I met anyway. Definitely not the ones that I didn't meet.
I don't know, like, I've had a lot of experiences where I, like...
You know I'm gonna win and draw a dick on your
meet
back.
family of white friends.
I don't think so.
Like,
Loser.
parents or uncles or whatever.
Party time.
And they're nice and well-meaning and
Ready to
everything,
lose,
but sometimes they'll
Captain?
just randomly
Watch
say
your
quite
butt,
racist
matey.
stuff. And that's really, like... That's not, like, a pleasant experience for me.
No.
Like...
Understandably.
Yeah, and it's just, like, there have been a couple of times where I've been on holiday with, like, white friends and, like, their family have been there, and I kind of just I kind of just have to grin and bear it.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm like taking their hospitality.
Yeah.
It's not like a ton of fun though.
No. Yeah, I think that's also a lot of the kinds of conflict that Sean experiences in this episode as well. Is just like, I do not agree with these people. These people are being like racist, but also I need them right now.
Yeah, I have no choice.
Like, I have no choice.
I guess like on a very much smaller scale, I can really relate to that.
Yeah, like it's an awkward position to be in, and to like not feel like you can, to feel beholden to anyone always feels weird, but like to have that extra stuff added on.
Yeah, I guess because it's like another added level to the like power imbalance.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Ship 6. I feel like I did quite well at this last time. Player with the highest loot over 20 wins the game. Okay.
When the ship,
Sorry, I can go back.
When the ship, the captain, and the crew are complete, only then can you use the last dice to do some. No crew without a captain. No captain without a ship. So we need a ship first, and then a captain, and then crew.
So we want to roll 6s, 5s, and 4s. I think is the.
In that order.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, that makes sense. I love the little sketch of Daniel with the pirate hat. It's so good.
That's nice, Megstar. So I've got white grandparents, but I feel like my grandma is very educated and that she was the one to give me books about Black history. That's really nice. I'm really like glad that you had that. And yeah, it's not impossible, thankfully.
Yeah, that's not unheard of. It's just.
But that's also like the kind of thing that like, okay, if you're gonna have white children or grandchildren, then if you're gonna have like
if you're gonna have racialized children as a white person,
then you need to be making that kind of effort.
And often parents do not, and I think that's
the problem.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like honestly, like I think there is, especially like as a white person, if I was dating a racialized person, like I would feel a lot of responsibility in not just making sure they felt comfortable, but also like making sure my family were like educated and understanding and like actually, you know, read more and like, you know, kind of were educated on the subject. Like I wouldn't want it to be like a passive thing, and I know for a lot of people it is a passive thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the right mindset.
But a lot of people, don't have that. And I mean, you know, we think about like the many, many, many white women who become mothers of racialized children.
Again, needs to be studied.
And don't do the fucking work. And yeah. You baby, we got a Saf here. We got a Saf. I got a Saf. Okay.
I think we can do this.
I believe in us. I feel like I did quite well last time. Throw dice.
Here we go. Just need a 6, a 5, and a 4. Come on. I need a ship.
Too bad.
I need a ship.
So we want a 6.
Give me a 6.
Yay!
Still incomplete.
Okay, we got a ship.
Okay, but use the ship.
Sounds like a no store.
And then we don't have a 5.
A 5 and a 4, yeah.
This is my last chance. Don't fail me. Yes.
Yeah, okay, we got
full
5
ship
and 4.
and cargo.
Hell yeah.
What are you gonna do?
You just lucked out.
More pirates. Hi.
Yeah, I think it's something that I think about a lot of like
High score.
like if I was dating a white person
How
as
are
well.
you gonna beat that?
Yeah.
My standard for that is a lot higher now than
Yes.
it was a few
Yeah.
years ago.
Which, makes sense.
As it should be. And especially because like I do want to
Your
have children.
turn, lover.
I'm not doing that with just any white person, you know.
What?
You gotta make the cut.
Come on. 6, please. 6.
She's so round. Can't see her on the. Oh, you can't see her on screen.
Come on.
That's sad.
Give me something.
I saw a little bit of the top
Anything.
of her head before.
You.
Little
was a
round girl.
blow.
She's like loafed under the
No.
under the mic stand. Oh,
Oh, no,
up
she's
now.
off now. You can see the tail.
Wait, pretty good.
Come on, my turn.
Yeah, I think we're going to get to it, but Claire and Stephen are pretty prime examples, in
Cool.
my opinion, about how not to grandparent your
same.
racialized children.
Yeah, I can...
Complete ship.
Yeah.
What the hell?
We'll see.
Wait. What's happening?
Engaging in constant dialogue with adults of your child's marginalized background is important.
I wonder what we would have done if we didn't find these dice.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know.
especially if your partners
Probably read all
that
these
background,
books.
like you need to be in constant
Boring.
dialogue with your partner. And
Remember
also,
that
like, I
time
would
I
say,
beat Dad at
like,
chess?
if you can try
You
and make
mean
an active
we
effort
beat
to
Dad.
involve
Yeah.
your
You did help me
child
distract him.
in like a community that shares their ethnic background
Bet he would have liked this game.
Yeah.
as well, like that's
Definitely.
really good.
It makes me
He
think
was a
of the,
great
like...
pirate.
I know it's not perfect, but, like, the discourse around,
Just
like,
like us.
Angelina Jolie,
Captain Diaz, King
adopting
of the Seas.
racialized children, which...
This game
Yeah.
sucks.
Don't
A
give
choice.
It is a choice.
Not
yeah.
a good one
Ew,
necessarily,
It was a
but
close one.
it is good that she works very hard to make sure that her racialized children are
Do you think Grandma and Grandpa
given connections with people
will
from
have
their
a
own community,
console?
like their cultural
I don't
communities,
think so,
and
dude.
still given
Sorry.
education in terms
No,
of that?
baby.
Like, she
I
does
like
not
playing
remove
dice
them
and stuff,
completely
too.
from their cultural
Whoa.
context, which,
Daniel the big nerd.
Yeah.
Getting sick of screens.
No way.
again, not perfect
nice for
by
a
any
change.
means.
But I still want my playbots.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I
I
bet.
like obviously she's not perfect, and at the end of the day she's a white woman. But I have a
hope
lot
no
of
one's
time for
keeping our
Angelina
Minecraft
Jolie
fortress alive.
because I do think she
For when I come
tries
back.
and she does get a lot of stuff like
I'm sure he is, pal.
right.
Yeah.
Especially
No
because
way
I'm
to
gonna
give
say
up
that
your super
Angelina
kingdom.
Jolie is like the only like celebrity that
hell?
I've seen, like I've read stuff that they've said about
This is my
Palestine and
last
been like
chance.
thoroughly
Don't
agree.
fail me.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I
Yes.
feel like when she was
Full ship
doing,
and cargo.
like,
What are you
when
gonna
she was
do?
like, was it the ambassador
You
for the
just
UN or
lucked out.
something?
Maybe.
I think she was
Mushrooms growing up so
a really
fast.
good choice in the,
Really?
and I think she took that
I don't see much
responsibility really
difference.
seriously, which
Well,
I think is really
she's
good.
still a
Yeah,
tiny
a
Because a
girl.
lot of the time,
But I can
yeah,
tell she's
especially with
getting
like
older
celebrities
and
who are
smart.
doing it to
You're
kind
a
of
smart
boost
girl.
the
Right?
profile of humanitarian
She's
aid.
so
It's
cute.
like a very
I'll love her forever.
it's good that she did that work.
Good
for
luck
sure.
beating
And I think
that,
that's made a huge
matey.
impact
Don't
on
worry
like
about that.
who she is as a person now.
Your turn,
Yeah.
lover.
We've obviously seen a lot of cursed discourse about like people randomly being like commenting on videos of Palestinian children and saying they want to
Sit.
adopt them.
Please.
That is awful and
Sit.
cursed
On so many levels.
Gotta
on so
shit
many
now.
levels. But also like Palestinian culture
Come
is.
on.
He
Give me something.
cheated.
Anything.
Should we call him out? I think we can call him out.
Yeah, I think we can.
I don't want to get a full ship.
Wouldn't let
Come
me
on.
do anything in the moment.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, do we not?
You
Oh,
can
we
draw a dick on my bag.
I'm not gonna draw a thing
No,
in this
it's
bag.
just
Let me
it's fine. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the most like
Hold on. It's not
relevant
an easy
connections
one.
is the connection to like
It's concentration.
indigenous people being like adopted in the
Ta-da.
US,
Yeah.
and like how like indigenous communities fought really hard for like
Whoa.
protections
It's so
of like
cool.
only indigenous
Thanks,
people
Sean.
can adopt indigenous children
Mm.
and stuff because
So,
obviously
let's do
like
another
indigenous
one?
people in from the US to Palestine are experiencing like genocide, including cultural genocide.
Yeah, okay.
And
But you ready to lose
Like,
again?
you know,
It's
being
getting
adopted
late,
into
though.
white families
So
that
let's
aren't
make it
going
short.
to
Okay.
like do any work to preserve their cultures and are going to try and assimilate them into Europeanness or whiteness
Cool.
is not.
me
That's
the
contributing
same-
genocide.
Yeah,
Like, let's
that
just
is-
plain and simple. That's what
Come
that
That
on.
is
I
genocide.
need a
That is
ship.
genocidal.
Too bad.
There's someone whose videos I watch occasionally called
Still
Kristen
incomplete?
Jericho.
Jeez.
And they
Sounds like a no
are
story.
so they've only very recently found out that their mom was adopted and was Native American. I can't remember what tribe specifically, but they've actually been doing, I think they've been writing a book about their mum's experiences, like with their mum's permission, obviously. And yeah, I'll be very interested because their mum like was in the adoption system and like was put, was educated in white schools and was like told not to speak her language, and like, that active violence used against Native American people. I mean, obviously it happens elsewhere, but I think the most kind of long-running campaign.
Yeah, I think it's similar in other settler colonial contexts,
like Australia and New Zealand as well. It definitely happens, and but yeah, so it is something that happens still, but like there was a real concerted effort. I think in the like 70s and 80s, I believe there was like a specific round of it. I actually listened to this podcast called Finding Cleo. Yeah, and it was about like basically a woman was trying to find a relative called Cleo and trying to find where she had gone after being put into the adoption system. And it was really interesting, like kind of going back all through all those. It was just like a journalist who'd been asked by this person to like investigate and like had consented to it being a podcast and stuff like that. But it was really fascinating, kind of basically this journalist trying to navigate the like systems of just horrible oppression and like how awful it was to try and find this child, because and like the way this Saf,
she babbed me.
Not very nice. Is it because it is an hour and 40 minutes until your food? That's probably why.
I think possibly during the game you can look up at him to call him out on cheating. Or to stop playing. But let's finish this game.
Yeah.
This is my last chance. Don't fail me. Yay.
There was a case in my home province of an indigenous woman getting her baby taken away from by social services the minute after she gave birth, and they spun some bullshit about child abuse. That's incredibly common.
Yeah.
I believe we're talking about the Canadian context here, but yeah, that's incredibly common, unfortunately, in across North America.
Here you go, Captain. Come on, give me something. Anything.
We're gonna have to post about this soon anyway, but unfortunately, because of YouTube reasons, our True Colors video essay, we're gonna have to like edit it and re-upload it because of YouTube's fucking rules.
Come on. I need a ship.
Saf, please.
Too bad.
Not the microphone, please.
But we talk a bunch about the experiences
Sounds
of
like a no score.
racialized children in the foster system in that video, so if you don't see it on the channel at the moment, then that's why. But we are gonna edit it and re-upload it so that you guys can still have access to it.
You just lucked out.
Treasuring up. Not the best score. But I'll do better next time. You'll see.
You wish. Ooh, you see this? Perfect throw.
Yeah. Good job.
I need the score now. Pretty please. Oh, is that it? Oh, that's a nice score.
I'm trying to see where he cheats and if there's a way I can like intervene, but it's not really working.
Maybe he's not cheating.
He was cheating. He definitely, there was a point where he cheated and there wasn't an option to say anything.
My
so
turn.
Maybe it has to happen a few times.
Be ready to lose.
Or maybe it's like after you finish playing, like Shaw makes a point about
Complete
cheating.
ship. What the hell?
We'll
Hey,
see.
yeah. So, call him out.
You kidding me? I can see the dice rolling, dude.
What did I do? You're just finding excuses.
Stop cheating, man. You gotta be better than this. Especially now.
Whatever.
He's grumpy, but we need to call him out.
Can
Yeah.
I get something better this time?
I mean, I got like a really good throw as well.
Shit. No crew.
Hence he cheated.
Yeah.
Still incomplete? Jeez.
Sounds like a no score.
Fuck off, Daniel. Love you.
This is my
Fuck off.
last chance. Don't fail me. Yay. No full ship. No score.
Sad.
Alright,
Hate to see it.
your turn.
Got a ship now. I need a captain. Come on.
I wonder if this is like a game that they made up or
Yes.
a game
Ship,
that
captain,
existed.
and crew.
Don't know. I wonder if it's one of those things where it's like a game that it technically exists, but it's like not in this particular
And
format, like in terms of the ship
win.
captain and things like that.
Yeah. Okay, maybe
So
we should.
let's
No.
do another one.
No, Daniel.
It's getting late.
It's bedtime. Gotta get up early.
I'm gonna finish my comic book. She has to pee.
Okay, okay. I'll take her out for a walk.
You're going to smoke.
Let him live.
Gross.
You're right. Don't.
Oh my god, Max
smoke.
Caulfield coded.
But
What?
it's our last night.
Being
so-
like, smoking?
We can
Oh.
Ew.
Ew.
Alright, alright.
I think it's eternally funny that Max would be like, I think that smoking and drinking are gross, but then she'd be like, well, it's cute when Chloe does it.
Yeah. It's cute because Chloe does it because I'm in love with Chloe. I think as well it's very like, I don't know, I feel like it's very like, I don't know, I mean she grew up in Seattle, so it was obviously like a more liberal area, but like I feel like her parents could have been those people who are like very strict about like underage drinking and smoking and things like that.
You know, I know that I've talked a little bit about this before in my Life is Strange Remastered stream, I think. But I feel like I have a lot of speculation and thoughts about like what Max's parents must be like and what her upbringing is like. Because that girl is so repressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I'm not judging. Same babes.
I feel like it's
But-
interesting that she connects so much with Kate, who also has quite like, not her whole family, but definitely quite like oppressive parents in terms of like her mom, her aunt, her like church, as in the way that they treat her.
Oh my god, the boy.
Oh my god.
He's by the Palestinian flag. No,
He says
Sara.
free Palestine.
Arthur said free Palestine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Like I think it's interesting that they happen to connect, and I think that maybe there is an aspect of it where Max relates in a lot of ways. I don't know, but then equally I feel like her parents kind of seem quite neglectful generally. I mean,
Sorry, I always find that moment quite like
yeah.
quite powerful. Just because there's something about like the way that in this game you don't play as the character that has
Yeah.
power. And it's something about how powerless Sean feels.
Yeah, definitely.
But yes, yeah, no, I think it's it feels like Max's parents are either really absent or like, because you know how like she spends all of her time at Chloe's house.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
she
like
talks
when
about,
she's a kid growing up, like she
yeah,
spent all her time with Chloe basically, and at Chloe's house with Chloe's family. Like she didn't spend that much time with her own parents, and like obviously they're both only children, but like the fact they don't spend that much time at Max's house together is
It's
interesting.
telling. Like,
Yeah,
it
it's
is
really
telling.
telling.
I think the context clues about like Max's family are something that like I find really interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Especially because like I don't know, when it clicked for me, Max being a lesbian, I feel like I started rethinking a lot of things.
I think as well, like, because initially her parents seem very normal from like the text you get and stuff.
Yeah.
Like on the surface they are very like, there's not much to question really, and then you start thinking about it and you're like, okay, but why did they never, like, why did Max never keep in touch with Chloe? Did her parents never encourage that? Like, all of these things. And then also the fact that they, like, they also don't, like, really contact her much. Like, they kind of contacted her on her birthday, and that was sort of it. In my experience, social anxiety is often born out of being constantly criticised and policed socially. Yeah. I don't think it's always the case, but I think there's definitely aspects of her behaviour that feel very...
Hey, Daniel? How are you doing?
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Like, it could come from that. Especially,
I'm
like, when you
coming.
think about the text. Because, like, if her parents think that she's doing something wrong, then their tone of their texts is quite, like...
Yeah,
punitive.
especially when they get, like, the call from the principal and stuff, because he thinks that Max is this evil
Evil teenage girl. Oh, those evil teenage girls.
Yeah.
Mushroom wants to go out.
Yeah, I think actually, like,
Don't you
obviously
hear?
what happens to
Yeah,
these boys in this
sorry.
game is, like,
Move.
horrible.
Mm.
But by contrast, like, Sean is a very well-adjusted young man.
Yeah.
Because
So,
Esteban is such a healthy father.
What's going on?
It
Yeah.
doesn't fit in. There's too much stuff. It's fucking bullshit.
Like, not no more, but, like... Again, I just don't want to encourage him doing it all the time.
Yeah, this is tricky because, like, his emotions are valid.
Yeah. I don't want to dismiss his emotions, but... Give me more choice, game!
I think I would kind of... I'm not happy that he's swearing, but I think I would prioritize, like, validating his emotions.
And I'm sure there'll be other opportunities to be like...
Hey, cool
"Don't swear."
down. It's gonna be okay.
I know. But
What did you pack in? What the Dude, you can't fit the whole room in. Don't worry. Your super strong big brother can help.
It's also very interesting, obviously, with Daniel knowing
Awesome.
that they're in quite an unstable situation, like trying to
Well.
keep toys.
Looks like we're almost set.
And, like, they're not his toys, they're
Where's
from his
Mushroom?
place, but...
Still peeing, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, he's a
I'm
kid.
gonna check
what
and
she's
he
up
still
to.
wants to, like, play.
Okay.
It also comes
I'll
back
fill up
to
our
what we
bottles and
have been
I'll catch
talking
up with
about,
you
like,
guys.
consistently about, like, people in horrible situations are still human
Feels
beings,
almost good to be
and
cut
human
off from
beings
everything.
need ways to cope with what's going on.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really as simple as that, whether it's drinking or drugs or
guy.
smoking or having a pet
I guess
or having
kids
toys.
have to grow up
like,
anyway, right?
These are all coping mechanisms
Yeah.
for, like, the awful situations that they're in.
Today was 2nd of December, so 7 years and 1 day today. Oh my god.
Damn. Okay, we didn't even time that on
Shit.
purpose.
No, we didn't, but I love it. Damn.
Hey Dad, say hello to your little girl in Miami. Yes, there is sun here and it burns. I love it. Tom knows everybody and I keep waiting to meet Scarface. We're at his friend's killer condo with a beach, view, and balcony. It feels so spoiled, but I know John is at the castle in the Alps, so I don't feel so bad. So many exclamation
Yeah.
marks.
I don't know how old this person's meant to be.
Plus, I really like it here. What a great way to start this new century.
Damn.
Yeah.
So 16 years ago.
I miss our vacation at the secret lodge, but I don't miss the raccoons in my room. Hope you can come visit soon after summer. Love you, Maggie. So many exclamation
Also,
marks.
Daddy Hill.
Daddy Hill.
Yeah, I don't know, but again, it does make this point that, like, it's a vacation home, not someone's
It's
actual
like
home.
a rich white family's
Yeah.
vacation home.
Yeah.
So it's, like, literally
The
fine.
secret lodge.
You know what this is reminding me of? It's reminding me of, like, when rich white people who live in Brooklyn are like, when Palestinians say from the river to the sea, it's like, where will I go? Like, maybe you'll go back to your multi-million-dollar
Yeah,
apartment
like, you
in
could
Brooklyn.
just...
Like, you have 2 houses.
Well,
and
yeah.
Palestinians have no home. Because
Yeah,
you
I love
stole it from
Sara's
them.
Valley Girl voice. It's my favorite thing. I need to just when you get into it, I'm like, yeah, just let them do their thing. Like, it's
Thank you, I appreciate that.
It's what we need.
I don't know like what it is, but when the Valley Girl possesses me, she's just there are 2 wolves inside me.
We
One
never
of those
found the
wolves
key to
is a
this
Valley
door.
Girl. I don't know how to
I
explain
guess
it.
using the sliding door is cool.
okay. I feel like I'm meant to be doing something. Pack the canteens. Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, all done.
Death imminent.
Where
For
the hell is
content
he?
warning.
Yeah. Look away, Sara.
Yeah. She wouldn't mind. Animal she does not care for.
Daniel!
Glaring at me.
Hey, you out here?
She loves to do that. It's her
She
favourite
does. It's just
pastime.
her face.
Her favourite activity. To glare.
Daniel!
But yeah, I mean, obviously, like the Palestinian example, but also to just talk about squatters.
Yeah.
Literally nothing wrong
Where
with
is he?
squatting.
No.
Like,
There's a house that's empty.
just live in it.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, if you're interested in like squatting as a political action that some people have organized around, then is her name Olive Morris? The black British
We have
activist
a
who was
2-day
based in
walk
London,
ahead of us.
who was a squatter.
I'm not sure.
Gotta get going.
Okay. I'm gonna like double check, but
What the fuck
oh my god, my
happened here?
flatmate's watching Gilmore Girls.
Slay.
I'll text them later.
Real. Left bumper. Wait. And.
Yeah.
Daniel? Where
Sorry,
are
it's
you?
possibly inopportune timing for the narrative.
Sorry.
No, you.
We
I'm
can
sorry.
pause.
I guess just very, very quickly, Olive Morris was a Jamaican-born British community leader and activist in feminist, black nationalist, and squatters' rights campaigns. At the age of 17, she was assaulted by the Metropolitan Police. She joined the British Black Panthers.
Slay.
She was a Marxist-Leninist and a radical feminist. She squatted buildings on Railton Road in Brixton. Which is one of the best parts of London. That's my hot take. And Morris became a key organizer in the Black women's movement in the UK. Wow, rude, Sal.
Yeah. Go on, read the room.
Actually, actually ironic. I shouldn't be hating on a black woman. I'm Isaf.
True.
Or a biracial woman.
Yeah, I mean
She's
her
black and
nose and paws are pink, so I think you know how people say like if the toe beans are black, then the cat's black.
Yeah. And the Organization of Women of African and Asian Descent in London. Yeah, so if you want to learn more about Olive Morris, she sadly died aged 27. She died very young.
God.
But she was, a radical black feminist who did a bunch of community organizing and amazing work in London. She's someone that people don't know a lot about,
No,
but I think
I've never heard of her.
especially if you're British and a feminist and a radical, then it's worth learning about her. And a lot of her work was around squatting. And like squatting as a political action,
Yeah.
and like all of that kind of stuff. So if that's something you're interested in,
Nice.
yeah. Okay, let's get our hearts broken.
No. I have to find Daniel and Mushroom.
Well, I know which way they are. I just need to get to it.
I mean, we will eventually.
Oh, it's up here.
Yeah. there we
Maybe.
go.
Yeah.
Follow the trail of blood.
It's not letting me go up that way.
Something's not right.
Maybe look at the blood. And then
Where's
it's
so?
behind you. There, right? Yeah,
Yes.
there.
Oh,
And then I think
okay.
you follow the trail to the left.
That way?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I
there
see.
we go. It's
Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah.
right.
That I was trying to. Oh.
And
That's not good.
I see.
this music is so good.
The little heartbeat sounds.
Daniel? Oh shit. Daniel! Do not move.
It killed her! She was my friend!
Calm down, okay? Listen.
Leave me alone! No!
Oof. Okay. Right.
All right. You know. Okay.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, while it is very sad and very horrible, in my opinion, that Mushroom is dead, and while I completely want to, like, you know, Daniel should be able to feel the feelings that he's feeling. This is really hard. This is horrible, like, especially just after his dad has died. No! Oh my god. Saf's on the mouse. Saf's on the mouse. Oh my god, I was about to scream. Don't you dare.
Miss Sapphire.
She's like, kill it. Kill it. God's sake, Saf. Your murderous instincts are not helping us right now, okay, Saf? This is why we're the ones
Watching
playing.
you.
Yeah.
Watching you.
Also, that's your family right there. That cat.
That cat is your family.
Yeah, I want to be able to center that emotion, especially straight after, like, Esteban's died. Mushroom was a real comfort to him. However, I don't think killing another animal is the solution. Obviously,
Yeah,
it's not. The animal is just doing what animals do.
Yeah,
that's the nature. But also, teaching Daniel to just kill animals out of anger is not something I want to teach him, basically.
Yeah,
That's just not an option.
Completely agree with everything you said, and the only thing I would add is that, like, we're gonna encounter some other situations that are going to seem in some ways similar, but, like, I think what you said about the fact that this is an animal doing what animals do, like, is really key.
Yeah.
Because the kind of violence that, like, we're looking at right now is, like, an animal who is a predator doing what is in its nature, which is to, like,
feed itself.
Obviously that's a horrible and upsetting thing for Daniel, but, like, this animal has not done anything wrong or malicious or evil.
No.
Like, now when we encounter other situations in this game where human beings have, like, even in the last episode, the stuff with Hank and blah blah blah, where human beings are, like, committing violence, they're being malicious, they're being racist.
It's
that's
not
different.
out of survival, but out of just being horrible.
Then that's completely different.
Yeah. Agreed.
And that's the only thing I'd add to, like, clarify my feelings on this
100%.
situation. Yeah.
Because animals are not choosing, they're just working on instinct, whereas humans have the ability to choose, and they, like, their being horrible to children is not linked to their survival.
Yeah, and again, like, we've talked about, like, okay, like, a woman defending herself from her abusive partner is, like justified violence of defense, or, you know, like, armed resistance is justified in response to, like, oppression. But
the animal is not oppressed. Like, this, I think it's like a mountain lion?
Yeah.
Is not oppressing them. It is just feeding itself.
Mountain lions are not oppressors. You heard it here first.
I will say, as someone who has 2 cats, they do kill for fun. They don't just kill for the fun of, like, for food. They kill for funsies.
But they don't, like, create systemic racism.
No, they don't
and,
create
like,
systemic racism.
Commit genocides and things like that. Unfortunately, a very uniquely human phenomenon.
I mean, let's be real though, I feel like, I don't know how I feel about Saf, and, like, if she had the ability, would she oppress, you know? I mean, look, in terms of her and Arthur, like, she's the oppressor, but yeah.
So obviously, like, what we're talking about here is that there's a difference between, like, political violence and, like, violence that is, like, natural or the instinct of
Inherent
animals.
in nature, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know, the violence that occurs in nature is, like, there's nothing, like, unnatural or oppressive.
You should see her. She
about
just tried to swipe at me. You're so rude. You're so rude. You celebrating the death of a dog. That's horrible, Saf. That's so rude of you.
I think I can empathize with why people would choose not to intervene, but I think I do feel strongly that, like, an animal doesn't deserve to be punished for what it's for this.
Again, I want to be able to support Daniel in this emotion, but I don't want him to learn the wrong lesson from this
Yeah,
experience.
and I think a general good rule in life, especially if we're talking about raising children, is that you can engage someone in their emotions and validate their emotions without like enabling them doing things that are like morally like wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
Like I would say that as a general rule.
Yeah, I mean, just because I'm not trying to say if he did do it that he is a terrible person, but it's definitely not the lesson I want him to learn from this.
Yeah, I also, I would agree with that too. Yeah.
Go away! Go!
Back to this face.
No! No!
Also, it's winter and it's hard to
Mushroom!
not be a hibernating animal in winter.
Fuck!
Yeah, like obviously again, it's so horrible, but
I'm
Lion
so
didn't do
sorry.
anything wrong.
No.
It just wouldn't have changed anything to kill it.
Well, I wonder if this game, like, I think maybe a lot of people misinterpret this situation as being the same as some of the other
Right.
situations.
Yeah, and I think that's part of some of the games.
It's alright.
I mean, I don't know how it's like encoded in terms of lessons that we teach Daniel, but like it's something where if the game is making those equivalent, then that's a worry to me.
That's worrying to me too. I think
Yeah.
that's something we'll have to keep an eye on and unpack.
Yeah, definitely.
Because because it's possible that the game makes that equivalence. I don't really remember. I guess we'll just see.
Yeah. I can't remember what I did last time. I feel like I made the mistake. I feel like it was one of those ones where I clicked the wrong thing and went shit. But I think I possibly let him kill it. Maybe. I feel like I need to just go back and look
Here.
at my choices from before, but it's on the
You should do
Xbox,
it.
so it's hard to tell.
We can do that next time.
I feel like we did have a body to bury though, so that's probably what happened.
Well, I think maybe you get the scene either way. Because
Yeah.
obviously we don't have a big body.
Well, no, we don't have a body to bury, but I mean, as in, I remember seeing them like be able to take the body away.
Okay.
I think,
That's it.
but maybe not.
Bullshit.
Well, just that we don't think that
Can't
like.
even bury you.
So you know how Sean in that scene is kind of like
Well-
it wouldn't have changed anything to kill it.
Unless you
Like
want to say
it
something.
feels like it implies possibly that the game might, in ensuing events, like
Goodbye,
create an
Mushroom.
equivalence between the decision
You were
not
such a
to
good puppy.
kill the animal
I'll
in
always remember.
retaliation to, I don't know, a
Running
decision
through the
not to
snow with
kill
you.
like someone who's
And
a
how you-
horrible racist to these
you
boys
snuggle.
Yeah.
in retaliation
And
or something like that. And those
I'll never.
are not
hit you.
necessarily equivalent situations because
Never.
of what we just talked about. Like, I don't think that a racist is acting in a way which is like natural or the
No.
violence of nature, right? Like,
No, that's
racism
learned
isn't.
and not
Yeah.
dealt with.
Yeah.
I want to
There's
say,
something that feels like inappropriate about saying R.I.P.
yeah, it's because it's
Effing
become a
chat.
funny thing to say for some reason. I think I would say thank you, and I feel like that's what I did before. Like, thank you for supporting us through this time, and like, you know, for being there for Daniel when he needed it, and
Yeah,
yeah,
I think that's a nice thing to say.
yeah.
Thank you, Mushroom. For looking after us in these woods.
Yeah.
You won't be forgotten.
Ugh.
Sean,
Oh god, the later
She's up
episodes
in
I'm gonna be a
heaven.
mess.
It's okay.
with Dad.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, what did...
Do you think she'd be up in heaven with Dad?
Okay, I think this was it, yeah. We're gonna have some conversations about religion because we
This
feel
is
differently, I
the...
think.
Well, I don't feel differently in terms of like... We feel differently in terms of our own personal feelings on faith.
Yeah, I
We
think...
don't feel... I feel like in this situation, like the way I would apply that is
Yeah,
not...
yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's
Yeah.
get into it. So, I'm a Muslim. I believe in God.
I'm an atheist. I try not to be that person about it, but I don't really believe in God. But I guess I sort of... I think it's something where I have not been particularly informed a lot of my life about it. And also my experience of religion has been through Christian church, specifically Methodist churches, because that's where like I was a scout, and so we went to like church parade and things like that. So it's like, hello.
She went down.
I think if she wanted down, she'd go that way. I think she's just popping in and saying hi and then having a little bap at me.
You just joined us for a conversation about religion.
Yes.
Welcome.
But yeah, my main experience of religion has been, Methodist, like a very white Methodist church, which I don't think is something I would have been into anyway. Like it would not have been, like, if I actually reflected on it now and like thought more about religion now, it's not what I would pick to kind of try or look into, as a religious ideology, I guess. But yeah, it's like something I'm not completely closed off to, but it's something where I don't think I have done enough work on myself and kind of enough research, I guess, or understanding.
Yeah,
I think I don't think the concept of like, I don't want to be a person who thinks that the concept of religion is bad, because I don't believe that.
Which
that's
you're not. I think that if that was a thing, then probably we wouldn't be friends.
No, and I mean, I've had phases in my teens of being like, ugh.
Honestly, me too though, because
yeah.
I was an atheist for a while.
Yeah.
So I was raised Muslim, and then I was stopped believing in God, and then I became Muslim again, and yeah, that's a long story, but like, so I can understand both perspectives. And I think it's also, honestly, like, everyone is their own person and has their own feelings and experiences. Like, if you for the rest of your life still never felt like you believed in God, that's literally fine.
Yeah.
Because you can't force yourself to believe in something.
Yeah. Like, I feel like it's very much down to, like, what I actually feel. And I think there are parts of, like, my belief system that are more spiritual.
Yeah.
But I don't think it aligns with a specific religion. Like,
fine.
Which, yeah, I think it's pretty normal.
Yeah, it's pretty normal, and also, like, we're all, like, I think we're all, like, on a bit of a journey with that kind of thing, because religion like, it's so intimately tied with, like, what your like moral and ethical system is, and your approach to kind of like understanding the world around you.
Yeah.
So
and again,
that's something that like changes throughout people's lives as well. That's fine.
As growing up as like Christianity being the assumed, like, if I wanted to be religious or if I felt religious, it was assumed that I would be Christianity.
Yeah.
And so I think obviously seeing the violence of a lot of Christianity and a lot of aspects of Christianity, and growing up with that and kind of seeing a lot of that, I think that's informed my feelings on it more than anything else. And so that's kind of really coloured that experience, because there has been a lot of violence done by Christian faiths, or like not by Christian faiths but by people within Christian faiths in the name of Christianity.
Yeah, like the institution of like religion. That's completely reasonable argument to have,
and I think that's where I've always come to it from.
Yeah, like personally, I'm always happy to have conversations about how like Islamic institutions like enact violence. Yeah, like that's a conversation that I'm not only happy to have as a Muslim, but I think it's important to have as a Muslim.
I think it's the institutions of them that I think have always made me feel more put off. And again,
which is understandable.
And I haven't really ever come to it from a person. I think I've only ever seen it as something, like up until more recently, it's only ever been something I see as like joining an organised religion rather than like having tenets of a particular faith and like practicing them yourself, and it not necessarily being part of like a specific church or a specific temple or a specific, like that kind of specific kind of institutional experience, I guess. And again, like as Lost in Fairy said, like there is also the kind of perception of religion as being homophobic, and that's obviously something that has coloured my opinion as well.
Especially because like the whole religion as homophobic thing is something that like is an idea that I do think it's really important for like white atheists to engage with how racist that idea can be.
100%.
especially Islamophobic.
Especially when Christianity is often, like, white Christianity is often used to, like perpetuate homophobia. And it's probably, like, one of the most, especially, like, maybe in the US, which, again, is a huge, like, cultural capital, you know?
Yeah.
It has created a lot of widespread homophobia in white people specifically. And it has been used to justify a lot of homophobia in white people specifically. So I don't think that, I don't think it was, like, obviously there's this perception of, like, especially, like, Islam being homophobic, when actually I think there are justifications for homophobia in most organized religions that you can find, but that doesn't mean it is
like if you
everyone's
want to,
interpretation.
is the thing. It's like there are many people who interpret Islam in a way which is homophobic. That's obviously not my interpretation of Islam, and I think that, like, obviously where institutional violence comes in is when, like, established Islamic scholars are using their power to perpetuate, like, homophobic interpretations of the Quran and say that this is the interpretation of the Quran as well. But in terms of this decision,
so I feel differently about this in the context of, like, we know that Esteban was not necessarily, like, devout, but, like, definitely had religion in his life in terms of the picture in his garage.
I hadn't thought about that actually.
And, like, so we know that that's in his life, and something that obviously he, whether, like, we don't know fully, like, how much he connected to it, but it was definitely something that was, like, an aspect of his personhood.
There's also something really interesting, and, like, we can only, you know, make assumptions about that, but there's such a difference between the, like, waspy, like, white supremacist, like, Christianity that we're about to encounter from Claire and Stephen, and the kind of Christianity that's practiced, for example,
Saf.
This isn't very Christian of her.
This is very violent.
It's very violent.
Not halal.
Not halal. Haram. What was I gonna say? For example, Latin American communities. Obviously, like, Catholicism is very prominent in a lot of Latin American communities, and, like, a big part of the historic origin of that is Spanish and Portuguese and other colonialisms. However, like, in the modern day, there's a very unique, very vibrant, very diverse practice of Christianity in that part of the world, from these racialized communities, which is very different to, like, white American Christianity.
100%. And again, like, waspy, like, wealthy white people, like, comfortable white people, it's a different experience, I think, often.
And also, like, I don't know how to describe it exactly, but, like, for example, like, Arab Christians, Palestinian Christians, they do it so different. Like, I don't even know how to, like, describe to you guys, like, how different it is. Like, well, because I think in a lot of ways there's also the fact that, like, there's more of a, like, spiritual connection to it. Like, for example, like, Arab Christian families, like, actually care about, like, the meaning of religious holidays, whereas, like, especially now, like, Easter and Christmas and all of that have become these kind of, like, secular capitalist
cultural things. Well, it's like it's more of the
consumerist like parades. And I think that, like, that's, like, a whole other conversation entirely, but, like, you know, what's happened to, like, the way that Christianity is, like, still in Western culture, but, like, in a secularized version. But anyway, I don't know. I think I will say that, like, even though I believe in God and stuff, like, belief is never something that is not fraught for me. I think a lot of people think that when you believe in God, or when you, like, have faith or religion, that you're just like, la la la, I believe in God, I believe God has a plan for everything, I believe that, you know, everything's gonna be fine because of God's plan. I understand everything and I'm at peace with everything because I believe in God, and that's just not what it's like at all. And like I have doubt and kind of like difficult, uncomfortable feelings like all the time that I navigate through that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like belief is something that like on one hand it's something that you feel, on the other hand it's something that you choose to do.
Yeah.
Like you choose to put your faith in something, right? It's as true of anything else than it is of God.
It makes me think of like how people talk about love. Like love is a choice as much as it is a like feeling.
Yeah.
It's like you can nurture that feeling or you can not, and that is still a choice.
Yeah. So I think in the case of like, you know, heaven, and like do I believe in heaven and hell, and do I believe that good people go to heaven and good people go to hell and stuff, like I wouldn't say it's as simple as having like an uncomplicated belief in that for me, but like it is something that I choose to believe in, and it's something that I really hope for. Yeah,
that makes sense.
For a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
but
I imagine specifically at the moment, like yeah, for real. But like for example, I don't know, like my grandmother, who is very dear to me, has been dead for like most of my life, and I've often thought for most of my life, like, where is she now? Yeah.
And when I think about her, like what I always think is like, there's no way of knowing, but what I hope and I believe is that she is in heaven.
Yeah. I still, even though I don't have a religion, I definitely do still conceptualize like death, I guess, having grown up again with like a concept of religion, like a like, you know, white British Christian concept of religion. I think there is definitely still an element of me, like when I think about like my grandparents who've died and stuff, I do consider the like kind of looking down on me kind of imagery, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though it's not something that like I actively really think about, but like there's always, or at least is like there is a presence of them, and like I still have this perception of like, can they see me now? Like, can they, you know, that kind of thing. You know, would they be proud of me? Like, what would they think? Like, you know, how would I interact with them now as a like adult? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think
really,
that's
really
something that I definitely still feel. And I think it's like, it's interesting how specifically with grief, religion plays a part, even for people who do not really connect with religion, because I think a lot of our understanding of religion, of like grief, is based in religion. Like, at least in like Western world, for me, like for my experience, for sure, like, you know, people kind of saying, you know, they're in a better place now. Like, even people who are not religious often will say things like that. And there is this implication of like, there is a better place, I guess. And I think it definitely, again, in this particular context with Esteban, like, I can completely see, how it often plays a particular part in grief. And I think that's often the way I have had religion presented to me, I guess. Interestingly, like, so when my granddad died when I was 6, like, he was a very staunch atheist. But at the time, I kind of wasn't necessarily actively Christian, but definitely related with a lot of Christianity at age 6, because like a lot of my friends were Christian. So I was just like, oh, well, yeah, sure, that sounds good. And so my understanding and navigation of that grief at the age of 6 was through religion, or at least through kind of a concept of like, I don't know, he's in heaven kind of thing.
And I think, so what would I say to my children when they would inevitably ask me about death?
Yeah.
Right? This is a question that most people, I think,
and I think this is the question Sean is
the,
being asked.
This is basically what we're dealing with, right? Like,
yeah.
if a child or your young sibling or whatever asks you about death, what do you tell them?
Yeah.
And I think that what I would say, like, do I think that Mushroom is in heaven? Is I believe that.
Yeah.
That is what I believe.
Yeah.
We don't
and I mean,
have any way of
specifically
knowing, but...
he's asking us what Sean feels as well, which is obviously a choice we have to make on Sean's behalf, which is interesting because we haven't really seen him connect with religion that much. You know, he kind of comments on I think it's a painting of Jesus in the... Oh, sorry, Evelyn. Yeah, Mushroom.
I'm so sorry, Evelyn. Mushroom has
passed. Yeah.
And we are teaching Daniel about how to cope with death.
I think in terms of like... I mean, whatever we go with, it will have implications for us later on, obviously.
Yeah, it will.
And we have to make decisions. You know, obviously we promised Daniel that we wouldn't lie to him, so we can't contradict ourselves on anything, even if our feelings may have changed throughout the game,
right.
Which is what I found interesting playing it, was that I think at this point I said yes as like a comfort. But then when chapter 4? Yeah, when chapter 4's happening, I say no as a form of persuasion, which he gets obviously Daniel got angry at me because I contradicted myself and I said I wouldn't lie to him. So I think this is an interesting point.
Yeah, I honestly, like, it's something that I want to dwell on more, but something about the way that, like, faith and religion are presented in this game is so interesting to me. Yeah, so I guess the thing is that this is the moment. Like, we decide pick something now, and then we in order to fulfill our promise to Daniel, we have to stick with that belief.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said for the fact that, like, people can change their minds about what they believe.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And I'm especially in the events of this game, I can fucking understand if Sean might change his mind. Like, he's going through probably the most intense, like, I don't know, the most intense emotions of his life, the most shit situation, a horrible, horrible situation. If his feelings change on this, that would have been very normal and fine had we not then promised that we would not lie to Daniel. So, yeah.
I don't know my feelings of an afterlife, but I definitely do think a lot about what would certain family I've lost have thought of me now and my life. Yeah, I think that a lot of people, regardless of, like, where you're at with what you feel and believe, like, contend with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's... So... Again,
are we able to go back? I think
yes, Saf's in the way, but yes. There's again, sorry to always bring things back to Taylor Swift, but one of her songs is called Marjorie, and it is about her grandmother, who was an opera singer, and it's like honestly, genuinely a really beautiful song that makes me cry every time. Can you not, Saf?
Wow, rude.
She's so rude. Yeah, it's a lovely, beautiful song that makes me cry every time, and she actually samples some of her grandmother's singing.
Oh,
it's
nice.
Really lovely. Like, it's probably one of her best, and I love it so much because it's such a it's such a beautiful. I mean, it's just such a beautiful way to have like express grief, especially from like a grandparent you didn't know as an adult. And like a lot of it is, so basically it's like from the perspective of like I wish I'd learned more from you when, like, I wish I'd appreciated you more when you were here, but I was a child and I couldn't. It's a lot. Yeah, I mean, I cry every time. And yeah.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you all know about it, but there is Latin American Catholic liberation theology, which is very cool.
Ooh.
That does sound very cool.
That does sound very cool.
I'd love to learn more about that.
Absolutely.
If I remember correctly, there's also liberation theology that came out of Anglican churches in Palestine. Yeah, you're right. I'm not like a huge expert on like Palestinian Christianity, but like I think it's worth talking about the fact that like a lot of the time when we see like what's happening on the ground in Palestine right now, like the majority of people that we are watching are Muslims and Christians, and some of them Jewish, Palestinians. Most of these people like have some kind of faith, and I think that there's something really to be said for the way that their faith like guides them to behave in the way that they do.
Yeah.
Because often when we see like Palestinians rescuing cats and pulling strangers out of rubble and playing with children that they've never met and cooking for each other, and like, I don't know, even the Palestinians who in 1947 took like displaced European Jewish people into their homes. Like we have to like, I do think that we have to acknowledge that like a huge part of why Palestinian culture is so inclined towards this kind of like generosity and collectivity is because
if
of
you're gonna
what
be an arsehole, why are you up here?
is because of what people's like faith guides them to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, no one's trying to say that Palestinians are perfect and flawless, but I think that a lot of these attitudes do come from their like religious beliefs.
Yeah.
Which is,
and also their religious beliefs are so collective in such a different way to like, again, like white Christians are often very individualist in their politics inform that faith, right? Like, and their race informs that faith, and their faith informs those things. Like, not that their faith is like wholly to blame, but as in it, they use their faith to justify, and like they interpret their faith to justify those feelings and thoughts. And it is deeply individualist. It's very much like, if I do good things, I'll go to heaven. But if I teach other people the way that I, like, you kind of get people who actively try to convert people and stuff like that. It's like, if they do that, then they'll be safe too, and it's my responsibility to do that. And it's very individualistic, and it's often not community in the same way.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah.
My final note on that is always remember that Jesus, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's also a Muslim prophet, was a Palestinian guy who hated capitalism. Well, they didn't have capitalism at the time, but he hated
the concept of he
hated like the concept of like greed, right? Like, I always found that one story where he finds the merchants in the temple and kind of like is full of rage. Like, that's something that I always remember and found very powerful. I just think we all know what side of the issue he'd be on. That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
But my instinct is that I would say yes.
Yeah. I think I am also willing to say yes. I think, again, like, even though, again, I don't really connect with a religion, I think that I also think, like, in terms of, like, Esteban's beliefs, it feels like his faith is also, again, like, he talks about his faith kind of or like when he the one time he kind of does talk about his faith, or like I think Daniel kind of acknowledges his poster, like painting, it's also when he's talking about Puerto Lobos. And I think that, I mean, it's not exactly combined for me, but I think it is also like a huge part of his connection to Mexico, and his like family feels relevant to his faith as well. And I think as Daniel and Sean are trying to go to Puerto Lobos, then I think that makes sense. It feels like thematically correct, I guess. In my mind,
to try and connect with like their Mexican heritage and like what their father's culture and like, faith was. Especially because they've lost him.
Yeah, definitely. And again, like, I think obviously it's like a comforting thing for Daniel to think of his father being in a safe place, but also I think it's actually like, it does connect them to him more, and I think that is a good thing.
And I think it's, again, totally like, if Daniel grew up and was like, I don't actually believe in God anymore, that's literally fine.
Absolutely. I think it's very interesting that like whatever you say, Daniel basically takes on.
Daniel does. It's true. It's an interesting point. Regardless of what Sean believes and does, like, I think that Daniel's experience from this whole thing in terms of religion is that he, like, believes in God.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like, it makes me think of, like, as a kid, again, when I felt more inclined to Christianity. My dad was very much an atheist and was very against it. And, well, you know, as in, he didn't really challenge me on it, but it was very much like, I don't believe that. But I was still very much like, no, I believe this. This is what I believe, and that's my thing, you know. And I think as a child, you can, you know, often you don't just parrot what your loved ones say.
Shock horror. Children can make up their own minds and come to their own conclusions. Yeah.
Saf, I'm gonna need you to get off the desk. I'm so sorry, honey, but like this is not.
Saf, please. This is not a sustainable.
This is not a sustainable ecosystem. Okay.
Yeah, it is interesting that you don't get the option to express doubt.
I agree, yeah. I think it would be nice to be able to, but...
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
No! Fuck! I think I just accidentally...
Sure
oh, wait, no, we were saying yes. We were saying yes, sorry.
Phew.
I thought I'd just... Sorry.
Okay.
Wait.
Could have just reloaded it. It was
What about
literally
his
fine. I was just being dramatic.
Don't worry, Nana. There's no
Oh, because
allergies
Esteban
up
had a dog allergy.
We'll be fine together.
Oh.
He is so precious.
Okay. We should go. It's getting late.
What about his allergies? Saf.
Okay.
She just wants to-
Sapphire Fire.
Miss Sapphire Fire.
Please. It's not even slightly food time yet.
You're also in the way of the chat, Miss
Yeah,
Sapphire.
it's not. This is not good.
It's not a sustainable ecosystem.
Oh, also, I was gonna say, you know, when we said that Saf was haram, so I watched. I know we're boycotting, but a while ago I watched Ms. Marvel, the TV show, and obviously a lot of that is set in like the context of a Muslim church.
Muslim church?
Sorry. Yeah,
That's it.
I'm stupid.
What
It's
about
my
Okay.
church. What was I doing there?
Crossover.
Yeah. Oh my god, besties. The crossover we never knew was coming.
I put both you in
Temple?
charge.
No.
Mosque?
Mosque, thank you. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Fucking hell.
Literally fine, but very funny.
God. A mosque. So there's just this like one throwaway bit that really cracked me up at the time of watching it, where there's like, for some reason, these two like merch hats from this mosque, and one says halal and one says haram, and there's this point where I think like the main character's mum is like trying to help her disguise herself, and her friend who's a white man, and she like holds both the caps and just goes, and then like gives like Kamala the like halal and the white boy haram, and it just really tickled me. I just really enjoyed it.
That's funny.
Sorry. Yeah.
That really tickled me.
I'm glad. Muslim
okay.
church. That's
I was
the thing now.
I was thinking about this while I was streaming LIS Remastered, but the justice system is very informed by Christianity, like the whole "you must suffer for your sins to find redemption" thing.
I may be covering that on an essay at some point next year,
Yeah,
so
watch out for that.
you know.
But it's looking like a bunch of our essays will just come out in 2024.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, it's interesting because obviously, again, we're looking at like a particular like interpretation and institution of Christianity.
Yeah.
I just think that that's like an important thing to emphasize. Like, I don't think we should ever take for granted that that version of Christianity is what Christianity is.
Yeah.
Because I do believe, I mean, I'm a Muslim, right? So it's kind of inevitable or natural to my beliefs, like the idea that, you know, Christianity is basically like a sister religion to mine, and very similar to my religion in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of things about it are really beautiful. And I think there are a lot of people, especially in the global south, who practice it in like a very beautiful way. Which isn't like the white supremacist colonial version of Christianity that we're accustomed to. I just think that's important. That's all.